This is Game Day exclusive on Talksport. Faye Carruthers with you live from Turf Moor alongside our chief football commentator Sam Matterface and former England captain Stuart Pearce. Burnley-Chelsea kicking off in just over 10 minutes time. Over on Talksport 2, by the way, at 12:30 is Coventry against West Brom in the Championship. You just heard some nice comments about Zian Fleming there. 3 goals in the Premier League this season. Listen, this doesn't bode particularly well, I would say, Stu. The last Burnley player to get into double figures in the Premier League was Chris Wood in 2020-2021. 5 years ago now.
Yeah, and in all honesty, if they're going to stay in the division, they're going to have to get a striker or one of their players into double figures, that's for sure. That's going to be the nature of it. That's probably why one or two were tipping Brentford not to have a good season this year, because of the players they lost and the goals they lost. But Thiago's delivering on that front, so that might be enough for them, and Burnley need to find a player of that ilk. Yeah,
a bit of pressure on Fleming. He got 14 goals last season in the Championship, 3 and 8 so far, so he's doing all right. Obviously Josh Brownhill was their top scorer last season, left in the summer, so he's going to have to ramp it up a little bit.
Yeah, he certainly has. Or they need to find goals elsewhere in the team, to take the load off him slightly.
Yeah, Josh Cullen, obviously we know is a brilliant goal scorer, but where else are the goals coming from in this Burnley side?
Well, you would look in the width, maybe. Chayuna probably, Okwa. Now I'm struggling with that one. Ugachekwu and Anthony on the other side. As I say, Josh Cullen's one eyed at West Ham. Fantastic young man as well, and I'm delighted. He had to go leave this country and follow Vincent Kompany to Anderlecht and get some football there before he come back to the Premier League, and it's fantastic to see him doing so well. Such a smashing young man.
You talk about the goals obviously have been a massive problem. They got a couple down at West Ham. Jadon Anthony started the season really well, hasn't scored since September. You mentioned Zian Fleming, 3 goals in his last 4 Premier League starts. That's a good little bit of rhythm. He's nudged Lyle Foster out of the team. Chona scored a screamer off the bench against Leeds, but they do need contributions from everywhere. They didn't score many goals last season. As you've already said, Brownhill was the top goal scorer last season. He was allowed to leave during the summer. So, they do need to try and tap into someone. It's a good little relationship, actually, between Fleming and Hartman on that left-hand side, which has yielded a few of those goals that we've just spoken about. It's something that they should harness.
And that's the important thing, isn't it? These connections between the players and, getting a little bit of rhythm together. And it's always difficult this time of the season when you've got 3 international breaks in September, October and November. It is difficult to get that rhythm in the Premier League, but this is exactly the time to get it, Stu. This time of year, end of November going into December in this congested calendar, to start really getting some of these connections between the players going.
Yeah, and probably not conceding goals, which was a massive forte of theirs last year. They need to get into that. But listen, they've got a game here after the international break against Chelsea. I just got a feeling that it might be a difficult occasion for Chelsea. And as Sam mentioned earlier, the fixtures for Burnley coming up over the next 2 months. There's the likes of Fulham and Wolves and teams like that are in and around them that they're going to have to get results against.
Yeah, without a doubt. They're going to have a keen eye as well on what's going on in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. It'd be great for them to get some points on the board before they kick off later on. Bournemouth play West Ham. West Ham, of course, in the bottom 3 at the moment. Brighton play Brentford. Fulham play Sunderland. Liverpool host Nottingham Forest. And Wolves, also at the bottom and under their first game in charge under Rob Edwards, are at home to Crystal Palace. The 5:30 kickoff is Newcastle against Manchester City. You're going to be able to hear all the 3 o'clock highlights and what's going on Game Day Live with Adrian Durham from 2:30 today. But so much football for you across the Talksport network over the next few days. The Steel City Derby is on Talksport 2 tomorrow from 12 o'clock. Sheffield Wednesday against Sheffield United. What are you up to tomorrow, Sam Matterface, on Game Day Live?
We're at Arsenal-Tottenham for the North London Derby. We're there from 1:30. I wanted to ask you a question, actually. How do you feel about Rob Edwards being back in the Premier League with Wolverhampton Wanderers?
I'm really pleased for him, actually. I understand why Middlesbrough fans were disappointed with him leaving. Bure was doing really good things there, but his family are based around that area. He's got key connections Wolverhampton Wanderers, having been there as a player and been there as a coach as well, so I understand when an opportunity like that comes up why he would want to take it. I equally understand why the Middlesbrough fans would be upset, and I hope he does a really good job and can get Wolves out of the pickle that they find themselves in.
Big job, isn't it, for him? And it's a good opportunity as well. If he does turn it round, he's performed a miracle. He's got quite a long contract there, so hopefully if he does end up taking them down, which looks likely at this moment in time, although as we keep saying it's only November, then he's got the opportunity, hopefully gets the opportunity to try and bring them back.
Absolutely, and that's probably what they're thinking. He's proven in the Championship already. He did a really good job with Luton in the Premier League, by the way. People forget that we were very close to staying up. We just had an injury crisis in January that made things very difficult for us, but he's a top manager and he's a top culture builder, as we saw at Borough, so let's see what he can do at Wolverhampton Wanderers. So after Game Day Live, which is at 1:30, Sam Matterface alongside Dean Ashton and Perry Groves. Monday night we've got Premier League football for you, Manchester United against Everton, and then we've got Champions League football for you across Tuesday and Wednesday. Marseille against Newcastle is an 8 o'clock kickoff. Arsenal Bayern Munich is an 8 o'clock kickoff on Wednesday. They're both on Talksport, and Liverpool PSV is on Talksport 2 on Wednesday. But it is Burnley against Chelsea. It is live on Talksport right now, so sit back and enjoy live and exclusive Premier League commentary of Burnley against Chelsea alongside your commentary team of former England captain Stuart Pearce and Talksport's chief football commentator Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Faye. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a cloudy, cold, dank Lancashire afternoon, and as we wait for the players to emerge from the tunnel, Burnley try to whip up the crowd with a little bit of orchestral music, slightly different to
classical
AC/DC.
violin.
Yeah, you like that?
I think she's playing the Irish Rover, actually.
Oh, there you go. We are at the home of Burnley Football Club, who, even at this stage of the season, are fighting to stay in the big time. The minnows, the unfancied, the basement battlers, you can call them whatever you like, but they believe they can make it. If the World Cup qualifiers has told us anything over the course of the last week or so, it is that nothing is impossible. Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Bosnia, crikey, even the Faroe Islands gave the big boys a bit of a scare. All of those have had or earned a chance at joining the summer's big gathering of the world's best in North America. Burnley, well, they just want to stay in the best league in the world, and they are already helping to set a new trend. This season is the first since 2017-18 that none of the newly promoted sides are in the relegation zone after 11 Premier League games. It's a lot more competitive at the bottom of the table than it was at this time last year, that is for sure. They might have to scrap today against the current Club World Cup champions, whose away form has been exemplary and who fancy themselves as the disruptors to those who say that the title race is just a two-horse race. Win this lunchtime and Enzo Maresca's team goes second in the Premier League, and that in itself will make a statement for others to sit up and take notice. The two teams emerge from the tunnel. Chelsea in their change strip today, they'll wear green shorts and white tops with a red and green stripe down the middle. Burnley in their traditional claret shirts with white shorts and light blue socks. They stride onto the pitch in front of the director's box over on the far side, and quite a big contingent from Chelsea. Alan Pace, the key owner of Burnley, is here today as well to witness this blockbuster affair. Chelsea on view at Turf Moor, and Burnley hoping to turn them over here for the first time since 1983. Here are the two teams, starting with the home side Burnley. Dubravka is their goalkeeper, Carl Walker is their right back, Axel Tuanzebe, Maxime Esteve and Quill Hartman the back four. Josh Cullen is the captain alongside Florentino in midfield, with Chauna Ugachukwu and Anthony behind Zian Fleming in attack. For Chelsea, they made 4 changes from the victory over Wolves just before the international break. They have Robert Sanchez in goal. Reece James, the captain, is the right back. Chalobah, who didn't really feature with England despite a call up to Thomas Tuchel's squad plays alongside Tosin Adarabioyo at the heart of defence. Cucurella plays as left back. Andre Santos and Fernandez are the midfield pairing. Caicedo is rested today. He's only on the bench after travelling to North America with Ecuador. Pedro Neto, João Pedro and Jamie Gittins are behind Liam Delap, who is yet to score this season, Stuart Pearce, but today could be the day that he makes his mark, bearing in mind that he was playing in the Championship not so long ago himself, and has been at the bottom of the table scrapping around, so he knows what it takes. Yeah,
all good experience, and he is a sort of throwback as well as a player, robust, but certainly needs a decent run in the side now for his own estate.
Peter Banks is the referee. The last time he refereed Chelsea, he sent off Rob Sanchez at Old Trafford after just a few minutes, and he is on the stricter end of the refereeing spectrum. He's also joint most for penalties and for yellow cards as well. Two captains inside the centre circle, getting ready to get us off and underway here. Burnley shooting from left to right in the first half towards the one-tiered stand, which is being propped up by two thick iron girders. The away fans housed in the Barnfield construction stand away to our right. Here in the main stand, we're looking upon high, and we can see over the top of the Fishwick stand opposite us the rows and rows of brick houses, the terraced houses that all surround the big mill which is in the middle of the town beyond the dugouts opposite us. It's Talksport, it's Saturday afternoon, and from 2:30 Adrian Durham will keep you across every goal as it goes in from around the Premier League, the EFL and beyond. And tomorrow I'll do the same from the North London Derby, game day live, Sunday style, on air from 1:30. Right now on Talksport 2, it's commentary against West Brom. Flo Pollock and Scott Minto, your commentary team. Just download the app. You can flick between the two stations and you'll get all the football you can possibly need. But right now we're in chilly Lancashire, where Chelsea are hoping to stir the pot. It's Chelsea away at Burnley, and it's live and it's exclusive only on Talksport. João Pedro will get us off and underway. Chelsea shooting from right to left in those white shirts with green shorts. And Stuart Pearce, the England legend, is with me. Stuart, Chelsea face Barcelona in midweek, but it would be a mistake to take this game lightly.
They can't afford to. If they want to keep up the chase with City, with Arsenal and the like, they're going to have to come here with a mindset of getting 3 points, Sam. That is for sure.
Martin Dubravka picks the ball up inside his penalty area after Tosin Adarabioyo kicked long from inside the centre circle. Rifle the ball back down the throat of the Burnley defence. They look to play out now through Esteb and then into midfield, where it's given to Cullen. Cullen finds Walker. Walker ends up in a tussle with João Pedro and Cucurella and loses out there. And the ball ends up going back to the halfway line and Chelsea in possession. Tosin Adarabioyo moving up towards the edge of the centre circle. Plays it left to Chalobah. Chalobah out wide to the left hand side, where it's now taken on by Jamie Gittins. When Chelsea have the ball, they seem to swing round into a three, because James will tuck in alongside Tosin Adarabioyo and Trevor Chalobah, and Cucurella will be allowed to wander into midfield and join in with Andre Santos and Enzo Fernandez. Ball is back with Dubravka. It's clipped forward towards Fleming. He tries to nudge it down the left side, looking for the run of Jayden Anthony. It runs out of play over on the far touchline and goes out for a throw-in. I don't know how many people Chelsea have brought with them today, but it looks as if they have used every seat available on the bench, and then they've added 5 extra seats to the left of it as well, just to make sure that their staff all can sit with a decent view of the match. Ball cleared by Sanchez up towards Gittins, who wins the first flick on. Esteve gets there ahead of Delap. It's not the best of headers, and Delap, encouraged to run after it, goes down the inside right left channel, looking to try and get there ahead of Dubravka, who slides across the grass and gobbles it up.
Even in these early stages, Tuanzebe there, beaten in the air by Gittins. That can't happen. You know, if you're trying to put one on the chin of the opposition early on, you can't let little interactions like that happen. And Kyle Walker giving the ball away just before that as well.
Walker's pinched it back off Cucurella and then nudged it infield towards Tuanzebe. This is Ugochukwu, Wearing number 8 for Burnley, guiding it back to Josh Cullen, who just drops into the back three, keeps things ticking over whenever he is in possession. A challenge on Fleming by Chalobah, only feeds Ugachukwu, sweeps it wide towards the right, and Burnley can come on the attack. And galloping forward is Carl Walker, the experienced right back, gets to the edge of the penalty area, feeds the ball in towards Chuona, towards the far post. It's tapped back across the face of goal. But although Hartman, coming up on that left-hand side, tried to centre it, and there's a mistake by Sanchez. He's given it away, edge of the penalty area. Ugochukwu's got it back now. He's looking to try and get forward with it. There's a problem for a Chelsea player over on the far side, but Chelsea causing themselves a little bit of grief here as they now come forward with Florentino. Now the referee's decided that that's a head injury for Enzo Fernandez. Scott Parker is not happy about the stoppage that the referee has implemented here, and nor are the Burnley fans.
No, I mean, the frustration come from, it was Sanchez who's trying to deliver a quick early ball to Neto in behind the Burnley back line, and he's just careered one from about 10 metres straight into the head of Enzo. Just shook him up slightly.
Well, he just went to rifle the ball forward and he smacked it right into the back of Enzo Fernandez's head, Robert Sanchez. He's now walking over to check on Enzo to make sure he's okay. The referee is now explaining that Enzo Fernandez has to go off after having treatment for a head injury, and it's going to be a uncontested drop ball, I think, about midway inside the Chelsea half. Chelsea scrambled back into the top three with consecutive wins just before the international window began. Burnley have lost 4 of their last 6 matches, and that watertight defence that got them into the Premier League has looked decisively leaky. Ball sent forward from the uncontested drop ball by Cullen in the midpoint of the Chelsea half. It's headed away by Chelsea. Fleming was a little bit hefty on Santos, who's got back to his feet without much protest, actually, and Chelsea bounce back and then go down the right with Neto, and he speeds away from one challenge, then tries to take on Esteve. Esteve comes across, does a brilliant job, actually, and nudges the ball out towards the far side. It remains 0-0. 4 minutes gone is Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, good defending there. Neto done really well, drove down the wing, but just stopped, and Burnley just seemed to have come into the game a little bit more.
Ugachukwu picks up a ball which is played forward by Walker in the right channel, down the Burnley right as they look at it. A bit misplaced by him, the second ball out to Chuona, and it's guided back towards the halfway line where Tuanzebe and Esteve keep hold of it. Burnley 0, Chelsea 0 on Talksport. Here's Hartman, and they picked up from Feyenoord, the Dutchman, over on the left side. He's actually linked with Chelsea a year or so ago, got a horrible knee injury, and it's one of the reasons he didn't go to the European Championships with the Dutch in 2024. He's on the ball again now, guiding it back to his goalkeeper Martin Dubravka, who's very popular with fantasy football managers this year because of the number of points that he picks up for making saves. He does make quite a lot. He's forced into making quite a lot. Here's Walker wandering into the middle of the park. Centre circle is Cullen, feeds the ball out towards Anthony, who clips it round the corner. Fleming had vacated the middle of the pitch and come a little bit deeper, and he wasn't there to receive it. It's cleared away by Chelsea, but only as far as Esteve, who does brilliantly again to get the ball away from harm's way. Cleared by Sanchez. Upfield it goes. Bit loose that from Esteve, and then Delap, I think, was in an offside position. João Pedro complaining that the flag might have been against him, and it is going to be a free kick to the home team 15 yards inside their own half. 0-0 the score. It's been a little bit loose in terms of possession from both sides, and they've given it away, Burnley here, and Fernandez has picked it up, whipped it to the left onto Gittings, and he once again just nudges the ball into an area where there wasn't a white shirt. Burnley mop it up. They have possession now inside their own half, and they look to build with Jayden Anthony, who scoops around the corner. Chuona gets in behind Chalobah. He scrambles up towards the edge of the area. He's got Fleming waiting in the box. He cuts in on his left foot, tries to get a shot away, blocked by Chalobah. Excellent block as well by Trevor Chalobah to stop that from being a shot on target from Burnley. Foul by Cullen. Free kick to Chelsea, 10 yards outside the box. João Pedro was the man fouled by the Irishman, who had a very profitable international break, didn't he, Josh Cullen?
Yeah, he certainly did. Good player, great captain of this football club, that's for sure. And it was good to see Burnley there just drop one in behind the Chelsea back line, and that caused the odd problem. When they've played it in and around their own half, they've been a bit careless with some of their build-up play. Burnley's promotion bid was based on defensive solidity, but there have been a little bit more
attacking in recent weeks. They were against West Ham. It actually cost them a little bit, to be honest. They have struggled to deal with the Premier League firepower that's come the other way. And they've conceded 22 goals already this season. They only conceded 16 in the whole of last. And they've played a lot more games in the Championship than they will in the Premier League, that's for sure. Sun coming over the hills over on the far side, but not enough to burn off the fog which has lingered here, the low cloud that has lingered around this area throughout the course of the day. Chalobah finds Tosin and then in turn finds Andres Santos. He looks to try and feed it out to the far side. Pedro Neto can't get there. Hartman has it on the left edge of the area, and Burnley look to build from the back. Cullen again comes in, taps it round the corner, gives it, gets it, moves it on, the metronome at the base of the Burnley formation. And they have been a little bit more compact here than they have been away from home, that is for sure. They've won already 2 Premier League games in this stadium, Burnley, so far this season, more than they've had at this stage last time they were in the Premier League, but they've given the ball away. Chuano's tried to play it back to Cullen, and Delap has intervened. He's picked the ball up onto the edge of the area, tried a shot from some distance, and he was quite some way from testing Martin Dubravka.
Yeah, from the moment he picked the ball up, once again a loose pass that have put Chelsea on the attack, and Delap's picked it up. Neto's outside him saying, just roll me the ball, fella, and go and find yourself another position. He had no intention whatsoever of passing that.
£30 million signing from Ipswich Town in the summer. He scored his first Chelsea goal at the Club World Cup against El Tunis. He was injured in the game against Fulham, and that was a real costly injury that kept him out for a while. When he came back against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Cup, he was sent off, which meant he didn't play for another week. He's back in the team for a second game in succession now, but he's just failed to take that ball out of the sky. It's nicked off his boot and gone out for a throw-in to Burnley in their left full-back position. Sent in by Will Hartman to Esteve. Esteve, who signed a new contract in the summer on the back of what was a really impressive set of performances as a strong, strapping centre-half in the Championship last year. Lays it back to his goalkeeper who kicks long. It comes back by Cullen, and they're on the edge of their own penalty area here with Axel Tuanzebe.
See, a switch of play there into Walker. He set the ball back into Cullen, and akin to what probably Jordan Henderson would do. You know that one where he comes onto it and whips it into the channel? That's where that ball probably should have gone, in my opinion.
Fleming did brilliantly to hold off the attempts of Tosin, and he releases Jayden Anthony, who speeds away down the right, tries to get the shot away, blocked by Andres Santos, ricochets kindly for Burnley. They're down the right side of the area, on the attack. Chouna takes it into the middle of the park, back to Cullen back out wide. It's now with Jayden Anthony once again. He tries to take on Chalobah, who looks to try and block, but he sets it back for Walker, who's deep cross towards Hartman, is a little bit too high, and Hartman heads the ball over the top of the crossbar, and it goes out and away for a goal kick away to our right. But in the early exchanges, we've played 11 minutes now, Stuart Pearce. It's 0-0 between Burnley and Chelsea, but Burnley have had the best attacks.
Yeah, they certainly have. They broke in behind with less numbers, obviously, with Chelsea, but Chelsea have got back and managed to get 2 blocks on. Now, if you're a top quality striker, you feign to shoot and then cut back or get your shot away slightly earlier. Burnley have failed to do that.
So far, 0-0. Here is Chalobah at the heart of the defence. And Chelsea trying to remain secure, bring the ball out with Reece James, and under no pressure really. They're not really a pressing team, Burnley. They don't go hunting. They've got one of the lowest figures for high turnovers in the Premier League. It's forward by Tosin Adarabioyo to switch the ball out to the right corner of the field. Chasing that was Neto, who felt he was dragged back by Hartman. The assistant on the far side was in close proximity and said he wasn't, and Burnley play on, and they try and break through the Chelsea press with the ball into Cullen, then out wide towards Hartman, and now Chouna, who's gone from right to left and then moves into a left wing position with Chalobah for company. He's got support arriving on the edge of the area. Anthony's into space, he gets a left footed shot away, and it's blocked by Tosin Adarabioyo. And again, did he take it early enough, Stuart Pearce? Back to Chouna, left hand side, low ball in towards the back post. Cucurella gets there in front of the goalkeeper, scoops it into the air, still not clear by Chelsea, comes back out towards Florentino. He clips the ball into the right edge of the area. It's headed away by Jamie Gittins, and still Chelsea struggling to get the ball clear. 0-0 on Talksport.
Yeah, it's one of these games after the international break. You turn up, you think you can just turn up if you're Chelsea. That won't be the case at Burnley, and I don't think Burnley have really dipped their bread where they should have done. 3 times now shots have been blocked where at least 2 of them, in my eyes, should have been clear shots at goal. Goalkeeper not been tested as yet, Sam.
4 goals for Jayden Anthony this season. First 6 games was where he was experiencing fertile ground. He's had a couple of opportunities already, and the last of which, getting into space inside the penalty area. If he hits that earlier, Stuart, he causes the goalkeeper a problem.
Yeah, and he should have done. He had plenty of time on his hands to do so.
Here is Jamie Gittins, played round the corner by Delap. On the left-hand side as Chelsea look at it. Up to Delap, the edge of the area. Looks for the return ball. He goes into the box. It's a little bit too heavy as it's played into him by João Pedro. Out comes Dubravka, gobbles the ball up on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he will clear for Burnley. 0-0 the score. Talksport. Burnley have had the better chances in the game so far. Southampton are 1-0 up against Charlton in the Championship. Remember, we've got a live commentary for you over on Talksport 2, where West Brom already lead against Coventry, have won 8 of their last 9 under Frank Lampard, and Bristol City have taken the lead. They've hit the front against Swansea in a bit of a derby down in the west of England.
I think we're looking at a game here, Sam, where if Burnley don't get their nose in front when they've had the odd chance, Chelsea can only get better as the game goes on.
Well, Chelsea have lots of exciting talents, but they may well have to show a degree of patience if they want to break down this Burnley team. They've certainly got to try and yield a few more chances, because as of yet they haven't really tested that back line very often. Breaking down the low block is a sort of regular task for teams that want to compete at the top end of the table. But Burnley have shown that they are quite able to play, and they do. That's late by João Pedro on Ugachukwu. It was unnecessary, really, because Burnley had given the ball away rather cheaply. Chelsea didn't react quick enough to it. Ugachukwu certainly did, and then he drew the foul from João Pedro.
Now, in the game already, we're 15 minutes or so on the clock, and Burnley have probably give it away cheaply. I would have said 4 or 5 occasions. You cannot afford to do that, not against the blue chip teams. Chelsea are not in their groove at the moment, but when they are, they'll score from one of them.
Well, they are the away day blues, Chelsea. They have won each of their last 5 on the road. They've been particularly impressive away from Stamford Bridge this season. Here is Andre Santos getting a free kick just in front of the penalty area that Chelsea are defending, away to our right hand side. It's Burnley 0, Chelsea 0 on Talksport on this grey day in the northwest. Tomorrow we'll be bringing you all the action from the Premier League and beyond as we take you round the grounds. 1:30 from Arsenal against Tottenham. Monday night it's Manchester United against Everton live on the Monday Night Football. Tuesday night we've got Marseille against Newcastle. Wednesday night Arsenal against Bayern Munich. There's a whole plethora of Europa and Conference League football on Thursday on Talksport and Talksport 2. Friday night more Championship, and then back to next weekend where we have a late game for you, Tottenham against Fulham at 8 o'clock. Here is Chalobah after a poor kick out by Sanchez, swirled the ball towards the near touchline. Taken on by Tosin, who plays a ball through the middle of the park looking for Delap. Well defended by Esteve, who was alert to it, got in front of Delap, who dropped in towards the edge of the centre circle. Flicked round the corner by Esteve to get Burnley back in control of the football, and they've had a lot of the football so far. Ugachukwu almost gives it away cheaply. Chona then does give it away cheaply. Fernandes sends it wide out to the right, and Neto is on the charge now, gets to the edge of the area, cuts in left footed, takes a deflection, goes out, and it's away for a corner on this near side.
The unnecessary giveaways of the ball, especially in their own half by Burnley, has to be costly at the end of it. Once again they've got a corner now, Chelsea, all come from a really poor pass under no real pressure.
Well, so far in the game Chelsea have struggled to get any meaningful attacks going. 4 shots from Burnley, 1 for Chelsea. This is the first corner of the match. Burnley have had more possession of the football so far, and Chelsea pretty useful from set plays and free kicks. Corners have been a weapon. Here is James in towards the far post, punched away by a very strong Dubravka. Gets it out from on top of Delap's head, and it's towards the far corner of the area, recycled by Andre Santos. That was a really good delivery, though, from Reece James, wasn't it?
It certainly was. He left it in there with not much pace on it, so Dubravka's had to generate the power to clear the box with the lap right next to him.
8 Chelsea goals in the Premier League have come via corners so far this season, second only to Arsenal. Ball sent forward down the left, looking for the run of Neto. Doesn't reach him. It's a bit of an overreach by Chelsea, really, and goes out of play. And it goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. This is Talksport, 18 minutes gone. First of 9 Premier League games over the next 2 days. And it's Burnley 0, Chelsea 0 on Talksport with Sky Sports. And don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Newcastle versus Manchester City live today. Search Now Sports. What a game that's going to be a little bit later on. Headed away by Tosin, into Delap, picked up by João Pedro. Forward he goes now, clipping the ball over the top of the defence, past Hartman and then into the path of Neto, who scampers forward to the edge of the box, tries to take on the Dutchman, gets it onto his left foot, swirls it in towards Delap. It's headed away by Tuanzebe, picked up by Chalobah, who's 10 yards outside the box. Gittins takes over now, runs to the defence, looks for the return. It's scooped over the top by João Pedro. It wasn't the easiest of ball to deal with, and as a result Burnley get it away, but not very far. Chelsea win it back again. Enzo Fernandez nudging it away from Florentino. And now it's with Reece James for Chelsea. A step over by João Pedro. Liam Delap takes over, turns, faces up the defence, plays it centrally to Cucurella. Worked out wide towards Gittins now, who just tickles up towards the edge of the area and then left-footed, drives the ball through the 6-yard box. It was a cross-come shot that went far too high and elevated over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, I would say at this moment in time both teams are failing to slip into their rhythm. Burnley giving the ball away far too often, but probably had the slightly better chances in the game. And Chelsea, they're probably suffering a little bit more than Burnley in regard to rhythm and whatever, not really taking the game by the scruff of the neck at all.
Not an easy place to come. Liverpool and Arsenal only managed narrow wins here, but they were more open, as I mentioned, on the road against West Ham, and it cost them, so you'd expect them to try and tighten up today. Burnley, and it is 0-0, and they've had a couple of good chances, and Jayden Anthony has had one of them. He's just been played in by Zian Fleming, who's got 3 goals in his last 4 starts for Burnley. He's got a good little relationship with Hartman, who's just played the ball in centrally towards Chiona, who's shot from the edge of the box, goes straight down the throat of Robert Sanchez, but he caught that well either side of the goalkeeper, and he might have been a bit more tested there, Robert Sanchez. But again, it's another good effort from Burnley, who have looked the likeliest. Yeah, they have. And Chiona's just gone down there, nowhere near him at all. I don't know whether he's rolled his knee at all, but no, he's up. It's good news, he's up. I thought he took that shot slightly too early. As I say, you can understand why he did. He come onto it, good pace on the ball, but maybe he could have built up play slightly and got a touch closer. Well, so far it has been about decision making in the final third from Burnley. Better decisions would have yielded better results. It's still goalless as a result of that. Here is Florentino on loan from Benfica into Walker into Florentino again. He's got loads of space to run into. Chalobah timed his intervention brilliantly though. An accidental handball, according to Peter Branks, the referee, on João Pedro. Did certainly look as if it hit him on the hand. The Burnley fans wanted a free kick that isn't forthcoming, and Chelsea continue to build through the middle of the park with Enzo Fernandez, who was given international time off during the most recent window to try and just sort out a niggling injury. He's been carrying a knee problem for about 4 months. They tried to alleviate that by leaving him out of the Argentina squad. He is Chelsea's midfield dynamo, though. He does create so many chances for them. 14 assists in all competitions last season. But no one's created much in Chelsea colours so far in the game. Halfway through the first half, Cucurella, who's now almost popped up on the right side of the pitch, plays the ball into the path of Enzo Fernandez. He twirls away from Ugo Chukwu. A lovely little drag back past Florentino. They're on the edge of the centre circle when they guide it back to Chalobah. Probing is Andre Santos, the Brazilian, into James. James out further wide to the Portuguese and Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto gets it back, gives it to James, who swirls a pass out towards his left-hand side, but it's misplaced from Reece James, and it's out for a Goal kick away to our left-hand side, and it remains Burnley 0, Chelsea 0. You're listening to Talksport.
Yeah, both teams not offering too much rhythm at the moment. It's incredible how this international break works. When they go away, come back, players coming away at sort of fractured times during the week. You've not got much turnaround time, and if you're Chelsea especially, they'd have probably flown up, I would have thought, from London to Manchester, and then you've got an hour and a bit's coach journey, so a full day Friday, if you like.
I just wonder what it's like when you're in a club and you've got players coming back, you're trying to formulate a game plan. How do you sort of deal with the sporadic drip feed of players coming back to the dressing room after international break?
Well, you probably just put everything off until the Thursday before the game on the Saturday.
And that has an effect on matches like this?
Of course it does, yeah. But when you talk about the build-up and the amount of information players need to take on board, certainly 2 weeks ago when they leave you can't be looking 2 weeks ahead about Burnley if you're Chelsea. So, yeah, it's not easy.
Here is Walker getting the ball back towards Tuanzebe. It goes across into the path of Esteve, and it's cleared out over on the far side. The Championship is hotting up. Dickey scored for Bristol City against Swansea. Bristol and Swansea not too far away from each other. It's not quite Cardiff Bristol City or Bristol City Bristol Rovers, but there'll be a little bit of an edge to that fixture between those two, hence why it's on at 12:30. 4 goals in 8 minutes for Southampton down at Charlton. By the way, Charlton, up until today, had only conceded 12 goals. They conceded 4 in 8 minutes today. Ryan Manning, Adam Armstrong, Yanda and Finn Azaz with the goals for Southampton, who under their temporary boss Tonda Ecker have, it looks like they're going to win 3 in a row now. And I think the common wisdom suggests that Tonda Ecker is going to get that job on a more permanent basis.
Takes some doing to score 4 goals in 8 minutes in any division anywhere in the world.
Pretty impressive. Hegebo scored for West Brom away at Coventry. They lead by 1-0. You're up to date from the Championship. Barnet 1-0 up in League 2. That's the only other goal in the EFL so far today. No goals here and not much action in terms of either goalkeeper being tested too often. It remains goalless. Here's Dubravka though with the ball at his feet, clipping it high into the afternoon sky. The header away by Tosin Adarabioyo lands on the head of Fernandez. It's poked forward by Andre Santos, and then he releases João Pedro, looking for Pedro Neto down the right. Esteve once again gets across and nudges it out wide. James back into the centre from the right wing position, low and hard into the box. It's fended away by Esteve. It goes out and it's away for a throw in midway inside opposition territory, and it remains goalless. Burnley were a little bit aggrieved that they thought there was a foul in the build up to the move, which led to Chelsea going on that attack. The referee wasn't having any of it.
The referee's done well, actually. The players want this game stopped a little bit more than he does, you know. He's obviously got a table booked tonight for some food somewhere, you know.
I wonder if we could join him, Stuart. Nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Little steak and kidney pie on a day like today.
Here is João Pedro guarding the ball back to Tosin Adarabioyo. Straight ball into Delap. He miscontrols that and gives it straight to Chauno, who gets the return from Jaden Anthony. Manages to work it wide again. There was a bit of a pullback there by Cucurella, and that's going to be a free kick to Burnley. 7 yards in front of the centre circle, almost dead centre of the Burnley, of the Chelsea half. And maybe a chance for Burnley to create something, to make something happen on what has been a rather tepid first 26 minutes.
Yeah, as I say, it's very, very central this, about 5 metres just beyond the circle in Chelsea's half. But they probably need to work it to an angle, I think, to deliver. And this might well come to Cole Walker.
Walker is just to the right of the kick taker Cullen. And like you say, it might be best for them to sort of send it out to the right and then him to toss it towards what would then be the far post. He's gone to the left and given it to Hartman instead, and they've changed the angle, sent it into the box. But whereas they were loaded at the other side of the penalty area, they had no one on this side of the penalty area, the near side as we look at it, and that's where the ball went from Hartman. It seemed a little bit ill-judged. Yeah,
it was a strange one. They've sent both centre-halves up on the left-hand side and then worked it to play it on the right diagonal to nobody.
Sanchez gets it back from Chalobah and plays it across to Tosin Adarabioyo. Chelsea trying to build up down the right-hand side. James kicks it straight out of play. It's been a bit like that. It's been a little bit stop-start. No one really finding their rhythm. Lots of loose turnovers of possession. A bit of a disappointment in terms of the quality of the match so far. And it reminds me a little bit, Stuart, of the game between Chelsea and Nottingham Forest at the City Ground earlier in the campaign. Here is Jonah down the right-hand side. He's got Jaden Anthony waiting in the centre. Fleming in there too. It's away by Santos. It was a poor ball in the end. Might come back in towards the danger zone here with Florentino kicking it over his head. It's not going to reach Fleming, and it's gobbled up by Robert Sanchez and cleared away. Still 0-0. But Burnley but the two teams have definitely looked the more aggressive.
Yeah, they have, and they've got into the last third of Chelsea on 4 occasions now and have failed to really test the goalkeeper in any way, shape or form. But a long-range effort from Chiona that was comfortable for Sanchez.
Delap's so far offside as he takes the ball down in behind the defence. Looks to steal a march on a step. Eventually, the assistant over on the far side raised his flag, but we could see that from a mile out.
Yeah, and the linesman knew it was offside. He's just got to go through the protocol, which I don't see the point of if you know it's offside. They're so good at their job. I've got to say, lines people these days, I think.
Yeah, the assistants have got eagle eyes. Definitely, you speak to some of them, they see things that you didn't think were possible to be able to see with the naked eye, but they're pretty sharp. And Sean Dyche might suggest that they see things that didn't exist as well. There was a couple of corner kicks that he had a problem with a few weeks ago. Did you see those? Well,
I know that Dyche's got special eyes.
He's specialised, that's for sure.
He keeps telling me. Who would you say are the happiest of the two teams here?
Crikey, Burnley, definitely.
Yeah, at this moment, but the worrying thing is you know Chelsea have to get better, don't you? And they've got a bench to improve things as well.
And that's where I was coming from with the Nottingham Forest reference earlier. You know, they were pretty guff in that first 45 minutes against Nottingham Forest, and then they hit back after half-time. I mean, you look at the statistics so far. I mean, they've had 2 shots, none on target. Their expected goals figure is 0.04, Chelsea. Burnley have had 5 shots, 1 on target, an expected goals figure of 0.26. I mean, it's marginal, but they've been the more likeliest to score so far. Here's Cucurella round the corner for Gittins, who was a little bit slow to the party. Walker beat him to it, and it's cleared away by Walker. Not very far, only found Cucurella. Now it's on to João Pedro. Half an hour gone. Gets it back from Delap, edge of the area. Tries to feed it into Enzo Fernandez and almost did. And then Delap chasing down Walker is outwitted. Chalobah comes forward, right-footed shot. Tries to bend that in the bottom corner, didn't really catch it. Dribbled along the ground, and it was easily picked up by Martin Dubravka.
Yeah, good effort there to build up, and I think it was Florentino's recovery run got into a good area because João Pedro, really good one too with João Pedro. João Pedro and Delap combining, sorry.
Yes, inside the area. A bit of a tangle involving Florentino and Enzo Fernandez as Bristol City go 2-0 up in the Championship against Swansea. Remember, over on Talksport 2, Coventry 0, West Brom 1 is the latest score. And Reece with the second goal for Bristol City. Gert Struber in charge of the Robins. In League 2, it's still Barnet 1, Gillingham 0, Harrogate 0, Walsall 0. There's only one game in League 1 this lunchtime because of the postponement of Exeter Burton. Port Vale 0, Plymouth 0. And Southampton still thrashing Charlton at the Valley. Free kick to Burnley, which Martin Dubravka will take, right-footed, clipping it high into the air, down the left side of the Burnley attack. Fleming doesn't get there, James heads it away, comes back out to Jaden Anthony and then Hartman, and then all the way back to Esteve on halfway as they look to try and build once more. Here is Hartman, going backwards rather than forwards, which is a little frustrating, I think, for some of the Burnley watchers. And it's picked up over on the far side by Ugachukwu into Chiona. Good breaking of the lines by Josh Cullen, who did brilliantly to charge forward and link the play. Ugachukwu's got it back right side, gets into the area, low cross into the box, steered away by Andre Santos, with Florentino coming in on it and hoping to try and rifle that goalwards. Delap claims he was fouled by Tuanzebe, was manhandled, drops to the ground, and it's going to be a free kick just 15 yards short of the halfway line, and it remains 0-0.
Yeah, once again, Burnley looked a really good opportunity there, but failed to find that cutting cross or an opportunity to open up the Chelsea back line to get a clear shooting line in process. And then obviously on the counter-attack, Tuanzebe, poor challenge on Delap, no need for it. Delap going nowhere, gives Chelsea the opportunity to build again.
And they have it with Chalobah, and there's 13 minutes to go in the first half. And Chalobah nudging it back to his central defensive partner today in Tosin Adarabioyo. Those two forming a bit of a partnership in the absence really of any sort of settled centre-back partnership. Chalobah and Colwell at the beginning of the season would have been the two that were expected to emerge as the first choice team, but injury to Colwell has robbed Chelsea of him. West Brom now 2-0 up away at Coventry City over on Talksport 2. Ona Hegebo with both the goals in that game. Frank Lampard's team having to come from behind at the break. Flo Pollock and Scott Minto, your commentary team on Talksport 2. Delap spins and turns past Esteve, beats him, charges forward, releases Neto into the box, low cross to the far post. Gittins was coming into it, but Walker was there. Lightning pace, brilliant recovery run, and a super sweep to put it out for a corner. Good Chelsea attack. Delap brilliant to get the ball away from Esteve and charge at the defence. Release the ball out to the right hand side where Pedro Neto was waiting. His ball into the box dealt with eventually by Carl Walker.
Yeah, I think we saw a little bit of quality there from Chelsea. They've just sent a message up to me in the commentary box. Oh, by the way, we might wake up very, very shortly, and when we do, we've got talent in the ranks.
400th Premier League start for Carl Walker today. Here is James from the corner, takes a glitch off Anthony and goes out for another corner on this near side, and it remains 0-0. And Chelsea set up their dead ball routine with Gittins loose on the edge of the area and Tosin Adarabioyo wandering to the back post. Chalobah coming to the near post. It's James who delivers the ball in towards that near post, headed away by Hartman. It goes out for another corner. And they've had a few nudges at the Burnley goal without making any real dents in Dubravka's armoury. Whereas at the other end, there have been one or two times when Burnley have escaped and got shots away on Rob Sanchez's goal. There's a delay because Cucurella was down on his haunches. The corner kick was taken short, but the referee ordered it to be retaken again. And James is now doing that, sending the ball into the near post again. And it's going to be right under Dubravka, a little flick away from the defence, falls for Enzo Fernandez, and then Cucurella's effort is well wide of goal. It was a little bit of a mess inside that penalty area, Stuart.
Yeah, it is, but as you picked up on earlier, Sam, these balls in by Reece James are a real problem. You know, he just little dinks them in, doesn't he? It's a little 8-iron from him, and he just leaves it in the zone, and it's very, very difficult to get any purchase on it as a defender to clear, even if you do get a clear head or punch on the ball.
Bit untidy after that with Enzo Fernandez trying to bring the ball down. Zion Fleming trying to get it clear. Cullen in there too. Burnley 0, Chelsea 0. The latest odds are available from Betfair, by the way, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Burnley 7-2, Chelsea 11-10 on. The draw is 9-4. That's all thanks to Betfair. Playing a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18+. Gambleaware.org. Hey, have you heard about this breakfast show they're planning next week, by the way?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Oh. Alan Brazil's going to try and do all 5 days.
That'll be interesting. I wouldn't like to see the betting.
Gittins into the close towards the far side. Neto coming in round the back, heads it past the goalkeeper, and Dubravka is beaten. The Burnley players complained to Peter Banks, suggest that there was an infringement in the build-up. The Burnley fans absolutely furious, but Pedro Neto is claiming the goal. He's peeled round the back post, got a header in when really shouldn't have. He's too small to get above the defenders and managed to squeeze that in at the far post, but he did it. And it started with Chelsea having the ball inside their centre circle. It was sent long down to the left-hand side for Cucurella. He brought the ball down. It looked like he handled it on the edge of the box, which is what they are checking now. It then went back to the far edge of the 6-yard box via Gittins. who picked out an unmarked Pedro Neto, who managed to get in there, stoop and head the ball beyond the goalkeeper and make it Chelsea 1, Burnley 0.
Yeah, it was Fernandez in there, and he's drawn the defender Hartman to him, and the ball's gone over both of them, and in behind him was Neto, who just swooped nice and low to wrong foot Dubravka. And, well, as I say, this is what the slightly better sides can do to you. Chelsea, I don't think they've been worth a lead, but they've got it now, and Burnley have got it all to do.
Was there an infringement in the build-up to the goal?
Not for me. I didn't see one, to be fair, and if they felt as though there was a handball from Cucurella, he was in such close contention that I'm not sure you could give it, even if it hit his hand.
Ball cleared by Dubravka as we kick off after Chelsea have taken the lead by a goal to 0. Goal coming from Pedro Neto. Here's Fleming. The ball dropped for him on the edge of the D, and he just sort of rifled his left foot at it. He was pushed in the back by Enzo Fernandez for absolutely no reason after that. And then those two started a bit of a war of words. Going to be difficult, isn't it? And the last thing that Burnley wanted, and I think you were sort of alluding to this, was to get into a good position where they kept Chelsea at bay, created opportunities but not taken them, and then concede to what was really Chelsea's first proper attack.
Yeah, and that's basically what's happened, really. And Burnley, I wouldn't say they got themselves to blame, but they've been in attacking areas and failed to get a decent finish out or a decent cross to really test Chelsea, that have been half-cocked at best so far.
Well, they've been pretty solid on the road recently. They're looking to win 5 of the last 6 away from Stamford Bridge, and they are in front here by a goal to 0. Live on Talksport this Saturday lunchtime. We've got Round the Grounds with Adrian Durham to come, plus Leicester Stoke at 3 on Talksport 2. Here's Josh Cullen, who used his arm, and now that's going to go down particularly well, because it was a similar sort of offence to which they claimed that Cucurella had perpetrated, and the referee has now given this in favour of Chelsea. That's not going to make him popular.
Yeah. I think Fleming up front has got to offer a little bit more from a physical outlet for his team. You know, he's been out-fought by the 2 central defenders, and you'd like to see him be a bit more aggressive in his challenges.
James to take the free kick. He sends it wide to Pedro Neto, the goal scorer, who's got his 4th goal of the campaign. Scored a good free kick in that game against Nottingham Forest that we mentioned earlier. Goes on the outside, tries to take on Hartman, gets down the outside, and he thinks he's won a corner. The referee says no. Came off of him last. It goes out of play. Now, because he took the ball away, he's going to get a yellow card here for delaying the restart.
Absolutely ridiculous play by Neto there. The arrogance of it, you know, the ball's come off him. Not only has it come off him clearly, we can see from 120 yards away, he claims that it didn't for a start, then he dribbles the ball back on, bouncing it. So I don't understand why you would do that as a player. I really don't.
Booked for delaying the restart. A yellow card for Pedro Neto, who is just wrestling with Hartman, hooks it on towards Delap. It's up towards the halfway line again from James, and then back it goes towards Jayden Anthony. Fleming wins a header, but there isn't anybody going beyond him to chase that down, and it's gobbled up by Robert Sanchez away to our right-hand side. Chelsea lead. Pedro Neto with the goal on a day in which they haven't really had much joy against the Burnley team that haven't offered them much, but have offered a few chances at the other end which they have declined to take. And by not taking them, have allowed Chelsea to sneak in the back door. James, Tosin, back to halfway, and Pedro just short of the halfway. It was a little bit short that from João Pedro, looking to find Chalobah. Had to go into a meaty challenge with Carl Walker. The ball then deflects kindly for Gittings. He loses out. Ugochukwu got it back, a little bit untidy in the middle of the park. Cullen always brings a little bit of poise to proceedings. Clips it into Florentino. Ugochukwu runs into traffic. Chelsea pick the ball up, turn it over, and now it's 4-on-4, and they're on the counter-attack with João Pedro in towards Delap, and coming in inside the 6-yard box was Neto. It was a poor ball by Delap, and it was cut out quickly by Dubravka and immediately released upfield into the middle of the park, and Florentino. Now Burnley urged to go forward by their supporters. Ugochukwu takes it over halfway. In it goes to Florentino, back via Anthony to Cullen. Cullen back to Florentino again, and then all of a sudden the momentum goes out of the attack and they hold the ball on the halfway line, and it remains Burnley 0, Chelsea 1. What an opportunity.
It certainly was. Delap just was running too quick for his legs by the looks of it and couldn't get a decent cross away. Neto had a simple tap in middle of the goal, but Dubravka just gathered the ball mid-goal.
Coventry have got one back against West Brom. It's Coventry 1, West Brom 2 over on Talksport 2, top of the Championship. Ryan Mason could desperately do with a victory there over Frank Lampard. He's struggled a little bit in the last few games. Walsall second in League 2, lead Harrogate by a goal to 0. It's just come in. And here it's 1-0 to Chelsea with 2 minutes before the break. Here is Esteve. Guides that back towards the left where it's collected by Hartman. Hartman forward, and then it doesn't quite work its way up towards Jayden Anthony, and it runs loose on halfway, and João Pedro takes over, tries to feed it to Neto, and he's imprecise with his pass. Hartman intercepts, and Burnley have possession once again.
A little bit of frustration there from the Burnley fans. They turn it over and they're desperate to go backwards all the time.
5-0 Southampton in the Championship game, which is taking place down at the Valley. And a second goal for Finn Azaz 2 minutes before half time there. 2 minutes of added time we think are going to be allotted here, and we are edging up to the last minute of the first half. First half which now being played at, well, I would say walking pace, but it's standing pace for Tosin. He's just stood there, looked at the ball for the last 20 seconds because no one was pressurising him from Burnley. Here's Chalobah.
Chelsea have been fortunate that they've come up against a team that haven't taken advantage of Chelsea being at sort of half measure at the moment, haven't they, you know?
It's not been a particularly impressive performance by Chelsea, but it's been effective enough because they haven't had to be at their very best to get in front here. Here is Tosin. Cucurella. Back to Tosin again. Tosin wanders into the midfield area, gives it to Reece James. James guides it back to his goalkeeper, who clips it high into the air, looking for Delap. It's away by Esteve. Esteve manages to nudge it forward. Cucurella keeps it alive. Neto finds Delap this time, who holds onto it well, turns away from Esteve. That's good play by him once more. Feeds out Pedro. Good in tight areas, but that was too tight. And the cross comes to Nzavi, snaffles it up for Burnley, and they clear it away. There's confirmation of the 2 minutes of added time that have been allotted here at the end of the first half. And it's 1-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah, as I say, Maresco will be absolutely delighted he got his team in 1-0 up. I think he'd have took a 0-0 comfortably, to be fair, on this performance, but you bet your bottom dollar they'll improve in the second half, and that might be a problem for Burnley,
especially with the changes that they can bring on. You know, they've rested Garnacho today, they've rested Moises Caicedo today, but they lead by a goal to 0 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Throw in far side to be taken by Reece James of Chelsea. He's about 7 or 8 steps from the halfway line, and he's just right tight to the touchline, and he throws the ball in and finds Tosin Adarabioyo. In turn, Trevor Chalobah takes over. Again, there's no press of any sorts from Burnley when Chelsea have the ball inside their own half. They're quite happy to allow Chelsea to have the ball for the most part. Here is Tosin, forward to Cucurella, and Chelsea beat what was in front of them and find Cucurella, release him, who in turn finds Delap, who turns, shoots, doesn't get enough power on it, but it does take a cannon off a defender and goes out for a corner right at the end of the first half.
Yeah, as I say, the press, there was no aggression in the press, and Chelsea played through it, and all of a sudden you start to fear for the back line of Burnley at that stage.
Well, they do rely on a core group. They've had 6 players, Jayden Anthony, Cullen, Dubravka, Esteve, Hartman and Walker, who've started all 12 games in the Premier League this season. So it might need a little bit of freshening up in the second half. Here is the corner for Chelsea, floated in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. A header by João Pedro is the last act of the first 45 minutes, and Chelsea will go in leaning at the break, because in the aftermath of an international window there are often coupon busters. This one actually threatened to be one at one point. Burnley had the better chances in the early part of the first half, but Pedro Neto came up with a goal in the 37th minute of the game, and Chelsea, who want to go second in the Premier League, lead at 17th place Burnley as a result. Half time, Burnley 0, Chelsea 1.
Thank you very much, Sam. Well, that was a fascinating first half of football. No, not the most scintillating 45 minutes, but interesting from a tactical point of view, Stu. And actually, Burnley had way more of the ball than we were expecting them to, and were actually way more of a threat, and in some ways unlucky to be behind.
Yeah, that would be a fair assessment. As I say, they went into Chelsea's final third on several occasions, attempted to get shots away that were blocked. Now, if you're a Premier League player, when someone commits to the block, you cut it back and open the angle up again. They failed to do that. And you always know when you're playing these better sides that are playing badly and it's still 0-0, you know they're going to come into the game. You know they'll find something a little bit special. I don't think Chelsea have done anything special to be in front today. Draw would be a fair result as it stands. Chelsea haven't been at it, in my opinion, but Burnley haven't been good enough. And to give the ball away 4, 5, 6 times in the first half in key areas, they haven't paid for it, but you shouldn't be doing that if you're Burnley.
In that first 10 minutes in particular, they were just handing it to Chelsea on a plate, weren't they? And they were lucky themselves to get away with that. But that perhaps shows sometimes that Chelsea just don't have that potency and that killer instinct and that ruthless streak that we're used to seeing from them. But I have to say, the one special moment in the game was the goal, because that ball from Jamie Gittins was on a plate for Pedro Neto.
Yeah, it was, and as I say, there are two players coming in at the far post that caused the problem. Fernandes was there, who took the eye of Hartman, and Neto done really well just to guide it really back across Dubravka. And that's the difference. I think if the game gets stretched and Chelsea improves slightly, they could go on and win this 3 or 4-0.
Well, that's what we're used to seeing Chelsea do. It's what they did against Wolves. Wolves kept themselves fully in the game just before the international break, but once the floodgates opened for Chelsea, then they were dominant. So we'll see what they can get out of this second half. We'll see whether or not Burnley can get themselves back into it. Elsewhere in the Championship, 12:30 kickoffs everywhere. Bristol City 2, managerless Swansea 0. Rob Dickey and Emil Rees on the score sheet there. Their new manager apparently waiting in the wings as it stands. Vitor Matos set to be named their new head coach. He was at Maritimo, but they seem to have given permission for him to go to Swansea, so we'll wait for that to be announced. Penny for the thoughts of Nathan Jones. Charlton 1, Southampton 5. Of course, Nathan Jones was at Southampton when they were in the Premier League. He's doing brilliant stuff at Charlton currently, but at home at the Valley, trailing his former club by 5-1. A bit of an upset potentially at the CBS Arena. That's live on Talksport 2 as we speak. Coventry 1, West Brom 2. Coventry have got themselves back into that. They were 2 goals down earlier on. It's goalless in League 1 between Port Vale and Plymouth. In League 2, Gillingham 1, Barnet 1, but they're still playing last seconds of stoppage time there, so not quite a half-time score for you. And in League 2, Harrogate 0, Walsall 1. It is also half-time here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Chelsea 1. Pedro Neto, the goal scorer, on 37 minutes. Arguably against the run of play. So the question is, can Burnley get themselves back into it? You'll find out. Second half coming next here on Talksport.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Newcastle versus Man City live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Imagine a place where you can escape for a day. Get immersed in a world of rooms, inspiration and expertise. Where you can laze in luxury accommodation. And kids can feast from 95 pence. Tickets are free to everyone and include all the attractions. You've just imagined a day out at IKEA. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone with stadium-style seating, amazing views on huge screens, and we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles the burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there. His favourite ice-cold beer. What a result. Catch every game live in the Pub and Grill at Village. Get in. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
Deals! Mega Monster deals! Unbelievably epic savings! Mind-boggling deals!
Shh! At Screwfix, our Black Friday deals are so good, we don't need to shout about them. Save on everything you need to get the job done. Power tools, safety and workwear, landscaping and outdoor, and electrical. On the app, in-store or online. Don't miss out. Deals must end 1st of December. Screwfix, no stopping you.
Oh, he's really opened up the Sun newspaper there, Jim.
No question, Clive. Straight in the middle and right into the free pull-out goals.
Goals, yes. The ultimate football coverage with the best expert writers. In-depth tactical analysis. Unrivaled coverage from every league and all the latest football action.
Think you've said it all there, Clive.
Sorry, Jim.
Not to worry, I was reading my copy of Goals anyway.
Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday only in the Sun.
This Christmas, McDonald's and the Elf on the Shelf are bringing festive tasks to your little ones, like writing a Christmas card for your postie.
Thank you. You're one happy helper.
Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal. Until the 30th of December from 11 a.m. Includes one pre-selected book or toy while stocks last. Subject to availability. Fair ordering policy applies.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then...
substitution.
His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Award-winning live football commentary. Game day exclusive. Talksport.
This is Game Day exclusive on Talksport. Faker Ruthers, Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce with you on this Saturday lunchtime. Second half of Burnley-Chelsea coming very shortly, with Chelsea leading by 1-0. So let's see what that's done to the odds and get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Betfair's safer gambling tools are designed so you can bet at your best. Learn more at safergambling.betfair.com. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Alex Boyes is back with us from Betfair. How's it looking at the minute, Alex?
Yeah, afternoon, Fair. You were absolutely right in what you said. It wasn't the most scintillating first half of football, but Chelsea did get their noses in front and just started to turn the screw toward the end of that first half. And looking at the odds on the Betfair Sportsbook, the away side now 1-4 on to go ahead and finish this game. And obviously they will go second if they do, at least momentarily, before a big few games coming up for Chelsea. They've got Barcelona, Arsenal, and then they've got to go to Ellen Road as well, which is probably the trickiest of the three, and that's not me showing my allegiances there. But looking at Burnley to turn this around, they're now 12-1 to come from behind. Remember, it was 4 defeats in 6 before this one, and they could end the day in the relegation zone if results don't go their way this afternoon. The draw in this one is currently 4-1 at half-time. Looking at some of the odds boosts, Fair, on the Betfair Sportsbook, you can back Liam Delap to score or be shown a card. Now, he got 12 Premier League goals and 12 yellow cards last season. Easily the most yellow-carded forward in the division. And Pedro Neto, he's been boosted to 5-1 to score again. He's actually got the same number of goals this season as he managed in the whole of last season in all competitions already. That's 6. So he's looking dangerous on the right-hand side. If we go to the Bet Builder, Fair, you can back Liam Delap to be fouled 3 or more times. He's already been fouled twice. And Axel Tuanzebe to be carded. He's actually fouled Delap, I think, on both of those occasions. And that's coming out at just under 10-1 on the Betfair Sportsbook. And remember, we do have Safe Sub live. So if either of those players were to be subbed off, your bet would stay right to the end So, yeah, it's all to play for in the second half, and it looks like Chelsea's game to lose, Fair.
Yep, certainly does. Thank you very much, Alex. That odds update, all thanks to Betfair, returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only, conditions apply. Go to gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Betfair's safer gambling tools are designed so you can bet at your best. Learn more at safergambling.betfair.com. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Right, following us at 2:30 here on Talksport, Adrian Durham's going to be taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in the Premier League and the EFL. He's going to be based at Molineux for Wolves against Crystal Palace. Rob Edwards' first game in charge of Wolves. How are you, Aid? What kind of reception is he going to get?
Well, I want to know how he's going to do, and you should know that more than anybody else. How is he going to do at Wolves? Because he took Luton up and then took them down. So I don't know how he's going to do here. It's all been heralded as him coming home as a dream job and all that. He started his career at Aston Villa and spent more time in the treatment room than on the pitch at Wolves, so I just don't get it, to be honest.
Oh, well, that's interesting, because I have the opposite opinion to you, as you would expect me to. I think he's going to do a good job there. I think he's going to help change the culture, which needed to happen, because Vitor Pereira clearly wasn't connecting properly with the players as he had done before when he saved them last season. So I think Rob Edwards is a savvy appointment in many ways, because if they do go down, which at the moment it looks like, but hopefully he can turn things around for them, we know what he's capable of doing in the Championship as well. So I wish him the very, very best of luck. Good human in football as well, and hopefully he can connect with those players. 3 points on the board would certainly do that, but tricky against Palace.
Well, they haven't won, have they, Wolves? And that is, listen, if he could get a win, great, but he's going to need a lot more than that. And listen, he is good human, there's no doubt about that, and I wish him all the best, but in terms of saving Wolves from where they are at the moment, I'm not entirely sure what convinces Wolves is the right man. Palace 1 win in the last 5 Premier League games, but we know they've got goals in the team. There's some great games today. Liverpool against Forest, a fixture they lost last season, is huge. There'll be some focus on Liverpool, of course. Brighton, Brentford, I like the look of as well. Brentford have been going well, won 4 of the last 6 in the Premier League. Fulham, Sunderland as well. Sunderland's great big Premier League success train. Can it keep on rolling? So plenty. And West Ham, I think, are going to get out of it under Nuno. Back-to-back wins, scoring 6 goals in 2 games. So they'll go to Bournemouth feeling confident.
Yeah, Liverpool Nottingham Forest is the one that interests me the most. We were actually just debating the 12:30 kickoff, because that would have been a cracking 12:30 game for sure. Arne Slot as well been moaning about low blocks, long balls, set pieces all season. So what's Sean Dyche going to do to approach this game?
What do you think? He's going to annoy Arne Slot. Arne Slot has basically given him the textbook on how to annoy Liverpool. I think there's some issues for Liverpool. This is going to be, if selected, Mo Salah's 300th Premier League appearance, but he's on 4 Premier League goals, and he's the top Liverpool scorer in the Premier League this season, but that's 10 fewer than Erling Haaland. It's the same amount of Premier League goals as Victor Gyökeres, Richarlison and Iliman Ndiaye of Everton. If you're looking for assists from that kind of wide player that Salah is as well, he's got 2 Premier League assists, the same as Amad Diallo, same as Jordan Henderson, same as Sean Longstaff, half the number that Jack Grealish has got at Everton. So I think there's some issues there to work out. Nobody's saying he's the cause of the problem, but they've got to get more out of Mo Salah.
Yeah, they do, without a doubt. Not been his best season so far. Fulham Sunderland, though, the rumours that Marco Silva's not going to be at Fulham for very much longer if this form continues. Sunderland are probably the wrong team that they want to play at the minute. I know how delighted you were with the 2-2 draw that they've got against Arsenal, as many people know why. But, they're such a tough team to play, Sunderland, and Fulham are struggling.
Yeah, they are. They've look at their squad and that. I think they've actually got some decent players, and they should have confident players. Harry Wilson with a hat-trick for Wales in midweek. All right, they're all set pieces, 2 pens and a free kick, but they have got some very good players at Fulham. Marco Silva expressed how unhappy he was with the transfer window, and as soon as a manager does that, it puts pressure on the board. They could hit back and say, well, we signed you Kevin for a record fee and you've only given him 2 starts. So it's whether he can use him more and get more out of him when he's in the starting lineup. So that's up to the manager. But yeah, there does seem to be a disconnect there, and Fulham will have to pick up some results. They've lost 4 of the last 5 Premier League games. Well,
I very much look forward to listening to Game Day Live on my way home, Aid. You are at Molineux from 2:30. I will speak to you very soon.
Cheers.
take care. Adrian Durham on Game Day Live with the team, bringing you all the latest from the 3 o'clock kickoffs, of which there are plenty today in the Premier League and the EFL. Just awaiting the players to come back out here at Turf Moor, and it looks like we're getting a change for Chelsea as well, because Benoit Badiashile is warming up currently with one of the strength and conditioning coaches at Chelsea, stripped and ready to go. So let's see whether or not he comes on or not. Sam Matterface, what will he bring?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen him very much this season. In fact, no one has, because he's been injured for most of it, and that's sort of been half of his problem since he's been at Chelsea, really. And I know that Adrian made a bit of a quip about Rob Edwards, but that sort of fate has befallen Benoit Badiashile. He was taken off after 55 minutes against Liverpool, had an issue. He played 81 minutes prior to that against Benfica and came off the bench against Brighton, but those are his only appearances of the season. I think it's interesting that they've decided to bring him into the game. We haven't seen the emergence of everybody else yet, so we don't know who he's going to replace. And I wonder whether it means that Chelsea are going to change one of the centre-halves, or they're just going to slightly adapt the way they set up.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see. As Sam says, Chelsea players have not emerged from the tunnel just yet. The Burnley players just have. They're ready to go. 15 minutes of half-time has elapsed already. In fact, we're coming up to 16 minutes of half-time, which is very unlikely. It doesn't happen very often, is what I'm trying to say. Not unlikely.
Peter Banks,
just couldn't think of the word.
Peter Banks is going to miss that dinner reservation that Stuart was talking about.
Yes, indeed he is. Still no sign of Enzo Maresca and the Chelsea players. So I'm not quite sure what's going on in the tunnel at the moment, but a huddle is going on with the Burnley players on the right-hand side of the pitch as they await their opponents, who are leading this game, by the way, thanks to Pedro Neto's 37th minute header. I'm going to hand you over to our commentary team, because Chelsea in second as it stands in the Premier League table, leading Burnley by a goal to nil. But can Scott Parker's side get themselves back into this one? They are ready to go. Let's find out live and exclusively on Talksport in the company of Stuart Pearce and Sam Matterface.
Stuart Pearce, it's Reece James who's been replaced by Benoit Badiashile. That'll be a bit of a concern, won't it?
It certainly will. Obviously, I didn't see anything with Reece James in regard to an injury during that first half, so you would take it as an injury and not a tactical scenario. But I wonder what that does. Do you think it's a like for like, or Badiashile will play?
I think he'll
inside
be. Badiashile will come and play centre half. Yeah. Probably Chalobah will come out to right back, I would have thought. I mean, there is the option of Chelsea going to a 3 at the back, with Badiashile and Tosin and Chalobah, and then Neto and Cucurella playing as wing backs. It's an option for them, and we'll see how it unfolds. But my preference would be Chalobah at right back at this stage. We'll see how it turns out. The Claret and Blue are out and ready to kick off at the start of the second half. Chelsea in white shirts with green shorts and thin green and red stripes through the middle of them, attacking the goal from right to left. And Peter Banks, the referee, is just talking to the captains about something. I don't know what it is he's talking about, but he was talking about maybe a level of communication. I just wonder whether or not our producer could just check to make sure that all the comms are okay, because we've had 18 minutes of half-time now, and the players have been told just to stop preparations before the start of the second half. And you just wonder whether or not there is some issue here with the restart, because there is no kick-off imminent. And the ball's just been picked up by Jayden Anthony. He's juggling with it inside the centre circle. The Chelsea players have gone over for a bit more of a drink from some of the medical staff. Everybody's just decided to move away. And I do think it is a comlink issue, because the assistant over on the far side is just getting a bit of... in fact, is it the fourth official who's getting an issue? His technical gear is not working. See, and you could tell immediately that it was going to be a communication problem, Stuart, couldn't you?
Well, you know, the half-time was... Well, Burnley were out, and they were out on the 15-minute mark, and no sign of Chelsea. And it's strange. How long would they wait until communications were back up and running?
That's a good question, isn't it? I mean, because you don't really have to have them. It's not like a law that you have to have them. So
I think they're wiring up the linesman over the far side, I think.
Yes, I think it is. There's a fourth official over there. Reece James is walking back down the touchline now, fully in his tracksuit. Fourth official is OK, and it's the assistant Blake Antrobus who's coming over towards this near touchline now, having been rewired, which is good. And we can now get underway. 20 minutes half-time. Well, everyone's had a good break. Let's hope that they serve up some super fare as a result of that. So we are now about to get underway in the second half. Burnley 0, Chelsea 1. Burnley shooting from right to left in the second half with claret shirts on, white shorts and light blue stockings. And Chelsea in the off-white green shorts and with the red and green trim, attacking the goal away to our right-hand side. And the ball goes all the way back to Martin Dubravka, who hadn't done too much in that first 45 minutes before he picked out the ball from the back of his net, which was put there by Pedro Neto, and it's cleared away as his kick goes long. Now it's won by Jayden Anthony. Across comes Andre Santos, and it is Trevor Chalobah who's playing at right back. Stuart Pearce, he's just going to meander over into that zone of the pitch.
Yeah, he is playing there, but he's tucked in quite a way, so whichever way you look at that, it could be either way. But put it this way, it could offer Anthony a little bit of space to receive the ball.
Ball cleared by Robert Sanchez up over the halfway line as Stev nudges it back into the path of his goalkeeper in front of Liam Delap. And is that because if he's so used to it, either he's playing in a 3 here, which looks like it's a possibility, might be sort of like a hybrid where it swings round, but because he's not an out-and-out right back, that's definitely the case. It will mean that there might be an opportunity for Anthony just to tuck out towards the touchline a little bit more and receive the ball. Let's see what happens, because the ball's been tossed into that zone and he's got it now, left side of the pitch, moving up towards the edge of the penalty area. He's got support arriving from Florentino. A low ball in from Hartman is poor. It's cut out by Enzo Fernandez, and now Chelsea look to go the other way with Neto down the touchline, takes it from behind himself and then brilliantly down the right side. He's got support from Delap. Arriving is Enzo Fernandez, whose ball towards the edge of the area is met by João Pedro, turns and shoots and fires over the top from inside the D. Well, Chelsea were quick on the money, getting the ball forward there, up via Neto into Fernandez, and then on in turn to João Pedro. He turned with his back to goal, fired it low and hard down to the goalkeeper's right. It went wide.
Yeah, worrying there. The recovery from the Burnley midfield players not as quick as you would like. All of a sudden it was 5-on-4, and probably there should have been a better finish there by Pedro, who's not really caught our eye, has he, so far in this game?
João Pedro, who is yet to score in 4.5 Premier League appearances against Burnley. He's only faced Brentford and Everton more times in the division without scoring a goal, and he has flattered to deceive in the opening 48 minutes of this game. Won by Cullen far side, did brilliantly to keep it in. Badiashile and Tosin getting in each other's way. Hooked by Tosin to the far side. Flicked out away for a throw in midway inside Burnley territory. 1-0.
Yeah, as I say, Chelsea have been hoping to extend this lead, but I think if Burnley get one back, the crowd will certainly come to the party here, and they'll sniff that maybe there is a result to be had.
It certainly looked that way in the first half, didn't it? Long throw from Kyle Walker, midway down the touchline right side. Into the box for Ogachukwu to try and help it on. It's cleared by Chelsea, won by Delap, picked up by Gittins, who created the goal with a really good delivery. The foul, though, from Kyle Walker is a rather agricultural one, and it's going to earn him a yellow card.
Well, I think mentioned before the game that Kyle Walker's been booked a few times this year. Unlike him, that extra bit of pace he's got normally gets him out of trouble.
Well, he certainly didn't get any of the ball there. The former England man, who's actually a teammate of Scott Parker when the two were at Tottenham Hotspur together, and when he made his England debut back in 2011, Kyle Walker, he came onto the pitch as a late substitute for Scott Parker. Now he's his gaffer at Burnley. Mistake by Hartman. He misjudged that, and Neto has snuck in behind, down the right. Gets into a crossing position, needs support. Enzo Fernandez is moving into the box at the far post. Gittins and João Pedro are lurking. Is Chalobah trying to nudge the ball into the area. It took a deflection off Jaden Anthony, and that took the pace off the ball. Easy for Burnley to clear, but they don't get it far enough away. And again, there's a bit of a half-hearted challenge from Anthony to allow Pedro Neto to get on the ball and keep Chelsea in possession. Just over the halfway line. Chalobah now. On to Fernandes. Back to Chalobah once again. Wearing a Under Armour underneath his short-sleeved Chelsea shirt, as most of the players are today on this nippy day in the north. Back to Adarabioyo, then into Chalobah. A little bit short that was a late challenge from Cullen. He missed the ball, went through Andre Santos, and Chalobah is pointing out that he believes that that's a yellow card. He wasn't happy with that decision at all. It did look like a late challenge from Cullen. How much of the man did he actually get?
Well, he's probably not got as much as the man as Santos would make out that he has at this moment in time. He's having a good look around whilst giving his leg a little rub. But Cullen, to be fair, if you're the captain of Burnley and Chelsea are not been at it, to go round and offer yourself in that respect is not a bad thing. To get the crowd at it, and he was a fraction away. Whether he got the ball or not, who knows?
Jason Malumbi has been sent off for a second yellow card early in the second half, with West Brom now down to 10 men against Coventry on Talksport 2. 2-1 the score there in West Brom's favour. Charlton 1, Southampton 5, still Bristol City 2, Swansea 0. Plymouth lead Port Vale in League 1, bottom of the lot. Plymouth and Port Vale really struggling. Gillingham 1, Barnet 1, and Harrogate 0, Walsall 1 in League 2. Well, we're waiting to see the prognosis. I don't know if there's going to be a VAR check here or not, but certainly Andre Santos is back on his feet.
Has he booked Cullen for that or not?
Not yet, no.
No, he's not booked Cullen for it. He doesn't look as though he's booking him. And that would send a message out to me, as it does now, is the referee's not sure whether he won the ball or he didn't. Because if you think he hasn't won the ball, you have to book the player for that challenge. If you think that's a free kick.
Well, he has given the free kick.
Exactly. I think you've got to book him. It's a seed of doubt, and he ain't sure.
Ball sent down the right-hand side. Esteve has headed it away. It goes out for a throw-in on this near side, and it remains 1-0 to Chelsea. And I think that was the point that Trevor Chalobah was making to Peter Banks, and Enzo Fernandez is still making that point now, the Chelsea captain. And the ball is back with Tosin Adarabioyo deep inside his own half. Benoit Badiashile gets it back to Robert Sanchez, who stops the ball, rolls it under his studs, and then kicks it high out towards the near touchline. It's headed away by Hartman, and he ends up seeing the ball out of play. He's an interesting character, is Quillinshi Hartman, the left back of Burnley, joined from Feyenoord, almost joined Chelsea a year ago before a knee injury robbed him of the significant period. He loves darts, and he's got his eyes on becoming a darts player, you know. Here is Delap getting in behind the defence, down the left-hand side, into the penalty area, takes on his step, should have squared it, has now tried to do that, headed away by Florentino, comes back to the edge of the box, and João Pedro Ugochukwu taking him out towards the far side. It's then picked up by Cucurella, and Chelsea forced back by the Burnley defence. There was a moment there again for Delap to get in behind. He didn't do enough with the ball when it came his way. Cucurella chests the ball down, not in an offside position. Gittins takes over, back to Cucurella, and he is blocked by Tuanzebe. It goes out for a corner over on the far side.
Yeah, decent play there by Chelsea, firstly with Delap running into that inside left area just inside the box, and then Cucurella doing exactly the same, but corner just coming from it, and Chelsea got another opportunity to pop the ball in the box.
Just not making enough of those opportunities where they get in behind Chelsea. And the one or two scenarios that have come their way, including the one for Delap, just sort of frittered away to nothing really. Maybe too many touches when he got inside the box. Here's the corner to be taken by Enzo Fernandez in the absence of Reece James, who came off at half-time. Delivered right under the goalkeeper, who punches it clear. Andre Santos will allow that to go all the way back to Robert Sanchez, and Chelsea will have to build from the back once again. Ball cleared by Sanchez out towards the far touchline. Headed away by Hartman, who's found himself in the right fullback position. As the ball comes into the box, Dubravka gets out of the way. It goes out for a goal kick away to our right. So let's whip round some of our 3 o'clock kickoffs, because we've got significant team news. Brighton at home against Brentford. Here's Talksport's Alex Crook.
And interestingly, captain Lewis Dunk dropped to the bench by the Seagulls as Olivia Buscagli comes in to make his Premier League debut. That the home side's only alteration. One change for Brentford from the side that beat Newcastle last time out. Aya is in for Hickey at left back.
To Craven Cottage and Ollie Klink.
Change for Fulham from their loss to Everton last time out. Sasa Lukic is suspended, so in comes Josh King. Meanwhile, Sunderland are unchanged from their draw with Arsenal. At Craven Cottage, it's Fulham against Sunderland.
To Molineux, Adam Bridge.
4 changes in Rob Edwards' first side. Both Buenos, Bellegarde and Hwang are on the bench. Wolfer, Munetsi, Agbadou and Arakadade come into the starting 11. 2 changes for Palace. Gayhe's back, Pino starts, Lerma and Canvot are out.
Thank you. That's Adam Bridge who's at Molineux. Adrian Durham will keep you in touch with all the goals as they go in from 2:30 from there. Matt Jones will be one of the reporters that are bringing you those goals when they happen, and he's watching Liverpool. We'll get to him in just a second, because João Pedro just sped away from Cullen into the penalty area. Delap is inside the box, decides not to use him, took too many touches again, gave it away. Andre Santos wins it back, edge of the penalty area for Chelsea. Goes out of play after a little deflection. It's a Chelsea throw over on the far side. Here's Matt Jones at Anfield.
Well, Liverpool make 5 changes from their defeat to Man City. Bradley and Vertza injured. Mamardashvili, Robertson, Ekatike dropped to the bench. Alisson is back, though, after nearly 2 months out. Kirkes Jones, Isak and Gakpo, the other players to start for the Reds. As for Nottingham Forest, unchanged from their win over Leeds before the international break. Liverpool against Nottingham Forest.
Cheers, Adam. Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. Back here, it's 1-0 to Chelsea. And another prime example, Stuart Pearce, of Chelsea getting into an advanced position and not making the most of a scenario. Is there a little bit of a reluctance to try and get the ball into Liam Delap when they're inside the penalty area, to look for him? Is there a reluctance from him to look for somebody else?
I've seen a little bit of selfishness, I think, from a couple of the Chelsea players. Delap not feeding Neto early on, and João Pedro there not feeding Delap, and it's a team game, and the whole idea is to give the opportunity to your teammate if humanly possible.
Well, 1-0 the score. Chelsea will be a little bit disappointed that it's not more than that, and certainly Burnley will be a little bit frustrated that after a bright start to the game, they've now appeared to be on the back foot perennially. Here is João Pedro turning from the left side of the Burnley half and moving at speed up towards the edge of the penalty area. In it goes to Cucurella. Back to João Pedro once again. He twists away from Uga Chukwu and leaves him for dust. He gets to the edge of the penalty area, tries to just fend the ball into the path of Cucurella. It wasn't a great ball and only half cleared by Burnley. Gittins has got it back. Right footed, edge of the area, takes a deflection and almost snuck in at the far post. It goes behind and away for a corner.
Yeah, João Pedro just run aground a little bit there with his effort, and then Burnley couldn't clear the ball, and Gittins, clever play, dropped the shoulder, opened the goal up, and the deflection just took it away from that far post area.
Good effort from Jamie Gittins, who created the goal for Chelsea with a delivery into the box. Just having a look to see who's taking the corner. It's just a bit behind a steel gantry here, so I'm craning my neck round to have a look that it's Pedro Neto, clips it in towards the near post, right under the goalkeeper, who didn't deal with that well. João Pedro turning, trying to fire it goalwards. It comes back out to Enzo Fernandez. It seemed to have hit a hand, but it was only half-hearted appeals, and it's smuggled away by Burnley towards the halfway line. Ball out of play over on the far side. Andre Santos couldn't get it out, so we'll go off to the Vitality Stadium here from Talksport, Simon Hill.
Yeah, it's been a horrible international window for Andre Iraola, Justin Kluivert, Ben Gannon-Doak, both out after injuries sustained on international duty. And the big news, Antoine Semenyo plays no part today. In come Krupi Jr., Diakate, Brooks and Cook. For West Ham, Lucas Paqueta is suspended. In come 19-year-old Brazilian Luis Guilherme and Igor Julio, with Crescencio Somerville also dropping out of the matchday squad.
Cheers, Simon. Thank you very much. Ian Danter will be your commentator on Talksport 2 this afternoon from 3 o'clock at Leicester. What's the team news?
Leicester City make 3 changes from their win at Norwich last time out. Thomas, Fass and Mavididi recalled. Ayew, the injured Nelson and Okoli drop out. 1 change for Stoke. Lewis Baker has a knock and can't play. Thomas Rigo comes in the Potters midfield. Live on Talksport 2 from 2:30. Leicester City, Stoke City.
Super Frank Lampard's Coventry City have gone 3-2 in front. They were 2-0 down in that game. There was a sending off. They dragged themselves back into it, and now they're in front. Coventry, who have won 8 of the last 9, lead by 3 goals to 2 at the CBS Arena. That's live over on Talksport 2 right now. And if you want to listen to Talksport 2, you can download the app. You can flick between the 2 stations, and that's where you'll get Ian Danza a little bit later on, commentating on that game between Leicester and Stoke. Here is Benoit Badiashile for Chelsea, back to Tosin Adarabioyo. Chelsea leading here by 1-0 against a Burnley side that offered a bit more resistance in the first half than they have in the second. Stuart, they've sort of dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, they certainly have. Just happy to get behind, and they've not forced Chelsea on the back foot and to defend that final third. Certainly this half, these first 15 minutes of this half anyway.
Chelsea have taken a grip on the game now. They lead by 0-0, but they are searching for that second goal that will seal them a place higher up the table. They want to go second today, and they are good early risers. They've won each of their last 7 Premier League games that kick off at 12:30 on a Saturday. Burnley don't like that alarm clock going off too early. The 12:30 Saturday slot is not a happy hunting ground for them, and it certainly isn't today, as João Pedro tries to flick it between Cullen and Florentino, who commits the foul, and a free kick is given to Chelsea on the halfway line.
Yeah, and Burnley have just got to try and get some rhythm and some pressure on the Chelsea goal. At the moment they're just sort of camp playing in the mid-band just inside their own half, and it's too comfortable for Chelsea.
Far too comfortable at the moment. Do they need a change?
I think there needs to be a higher press. Burnley need to go and almost go, you know, let's go man for man and have a power play for a while.
Well, somehow Burnley do need to up their key metrics. No team has had fewer shots in the Premier League this season. No team has produced fewer corners. No team has had fewer touches in the opponent's half, and they're not a team that usually presses with any real conviction. That might be by design, but their high turnovers are the worst in the league. And they're trailing here by 0-0, and they need to come up with something, and they need to come up with it quickly, otherwise it's going to be a familiar old tale. Here is Tuan Zabi trying to send the ball into the path of Hartman. Hartman forces it back to Maxime Esteve. Esteve back to Cullen, and then all the way back to the goalkeeper. Chelsea are unbeaten in 11 matches against Burnley. The last time that Burnley beat them anywhere was down at Stamford Bridge in 2017. Here is Fernandes onto Pedro Neto inside the area. Right-footed shot, hits the post, comes back out into the 6-yard box, and the only man who was following it up was Cullen, who slides it behind and away for a corner kick. An effort from Neto from the edge of the area, caught out Dubravka, who went down to his left, but he actually misjudged it. It hit the inside of the post, came back out to the edge of the 6-yard box, and Josh Cullen was there to sweep it away.
Yeah, I think Dubravka nearly got done on that near post. I think he should have done better, and he was fortunate that it managed to skim off the post across the face of goal and out again.
It was just a little misjudgment that by Martin Dubravka. Pedro Neto almost sneaking that in the near corner as the set play comes in from the far side, and it's going to be whipped in by Enzo Fernandez. Again, it's right under Dubravka, who has to punch. Back in by Neto. Dubravka will come and claim that one, and then he'll try and release it quickly out towards this near side. I'm not entirely sure that was the right ball, because the run that was made forward was Jayden Anthony on the other side, and Dubravka came hurling out to try and send them down the Burnley left.
Yeah, it certainly was the wrong side. I think he was cut off from launching one with his right or left foot, because the Chelsea player was in his way, so he could only see this side of the pitch.
They do really struggle against the Big Six, although the Big Six isn't really as set in stone as it once was. Burnley's record against those sides as a collective since their third Premier League promotion in 2016-17 is pretty poor, and they're behind here by 0-0. They have a free kick inside the centre circle, which Josh Cullen is going to take. And they were reluctant there for a moment to send players forward, but they are now finally going to do that.
I just wonder where Burnley are going to get a goal from. I don't see a supply line or an individual that's causing that much of a problem, and that's the worry.
Well, the balls in behind were causing a problem in the first half, but that hasn't happened in the second half almost at all. Ball clipped forward by Cullen. Esteve trying to get round the back. Delap with a header away. Maybe it'll come from a corner, but they're not going to get one there because Delap pushed Esteve in the back. It came off the back of Esteve and went out and goes for a goal kick away to our left.
Yeah, they got to work those slightly better. They've had two sort of central deep free kicks that have come to almost nothing.
You're listening to Burnley 0, Chelsea 1. Talksport with Sky Sports, and don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Newcastle versus Man City live today. Search Now Sports. Here's Tosin Adarabioyo, sending it long and high out towards the far side, and brilliantly taken in by Jamie Gittins. It's a lovely touch, and then he comes inside the fullback Carl Walker and slips it down the inside left channel, but no one had made the run. And takes a little dribble off a boot of a Burnley player and then into the path of Dubravka. There's a couple of really good touches from Jamie Gittins in the game, and of course he created the only goal of the match so far for Pedro Neto after 37 minutes. That's the difference between the two teams. Burnley have the ball inside their own half. Tuanzebe sending it long. Shauna is wrestled to the floor by Benoit Badiashile.
That wrestling match went on for a good 30 seconds on the halfway line while play was building up. It was just incredible. I was watching it, and Badiashile is just all over him, wrestled him and then threw him to the ground. It was ludicrous.
It was like a rerun of Giant Haystacks from the world of sport, Dickie Davis.
Against Big Daddy, yeah, I saw
Big
that
Daddy,
one.
1984, I thought it was.
I think it went back further than that,
was
my
it?
friend.
Yeah, maybe a little bit longer, yeah. Chelsea make a change, and I think Malagusto has come on, and he has replaced Liam Delap, which will mean that Malagusto goes into midfield, obviously, and João Pedro goes up as the point man. Now, Malagusto's been okay in that central area when he's been deployed in there, but it's only happened once or twice. He did a very good job actually in the Liverpool game, but he's playing on the left of a two in midfield behind the striker, and that isn't really naturally his position. He's a right back, so it'll be interesting to see how he slots in, especially bearing in mind there are midfielders available off the bench.
Yeah, it's a strange one. As I say, I don't know whether they're looking after Delap, are they? I thought he'd done okay in the game, to be fair.
Yep, still searching for his first goal, but yes, taken off maybe prematurely. 68 minutes gone, and it's still Burnley 0, Chelsea 1. And all the while it is 1-0, Chelsea will know that there could be a sucker punch coming, and they've experienced that before. Go back to the Brighton game, go back to the Sunderland game, you know, where things were all very tense until right at the end, and the game was taken by Sunderland in the last few minutes of the match. Chelsea just haven't really done enough to take the match away from Burnley. Burnley haven't done enough to get back in it. Malagusto trying to get down the left. He puts pressure on Tuanzebe, who wins the second challenge, and Oluchukwu can come away with the ball. He pokes it forward. He felt he was fouled. He was dragged back. The referee concurs with that assessment and gives a free kick to Burnley. And this is 6 yards inside opposition territory, and it's a yellow card for João Pedro.
Yeah, and Burnley have got another chance, one of these deep line free kicks. More of an angle this time. Carl Walker just over the ball, and it'll be a big diagonal to Esteve, I'm sure.
Esteve moving up towards the edge of the area, as now Burnley look to roll the dice and make an alteration. Now Foster over on the far side, that might well be getting ready to come on here. Might make a few changes. Here is Hartman, back to Walker, back to Hartman again. They still haven't sent it forward. Now they will, looking for Fleming into the box, who takes it down and then shoots over the bar. Well, it didn't sit right for him as it came off his chest, But it was a brilliant ball over the top from Hartman. I mentioned earlier that those two have got a little bit of a symbiotic relationship. He lifted that ball brilliantly and he made an elegant run from this side, the near side of the wall, and then back across round the back of the Chelsea defence to receive the ball as it came over the top from Hartman. He chested it down into his path to try and get the shot away, but he fired it over the top.
Yeah, as I say, the ball was super, the control was really good, the finish was awful.
Ogachukwu into Fleming, trying to hold off Tosin, does that, gives it to Ogachukwu again. Ogachukwu went to pull the trigger and Santos came behind him and stole the ball. Still Burnley look to win it back again, then they give it away again. João Pedro takes it over and it goes out over on the far side. Here is Enzo Fernandez running through the centre, looking to try and release it. Hannibal Medri about to come on. Lyle Foster about to come on in the next few moments here on Talksport. Third change is going to see Armando Broja come on for Burnley, former Chelsea player. And, came off the bench against England in the Albania game not so long ago. Malagisto's given the ball away rather cheaply. And then he's had to try and win it back again from Jayden Anthony, but they've kept on the front foot, and Florentino's tried to send it into the path of Fleming. It's cut out by Andre Santos. Jayden Anthony's got it back again. Chelsea can't clear their lines right now. This is Hartman. Across comes Chalobah. There's a wrestling match. Santos is fouled eventually. There's a little bit of a tangle involving Santos and Hartman. There was a bit of holding going on from Trevor Chalobah as well. Here's the three changes, the triple change. Medri, Foster and Broja on. Leslie Ogachukwu is off. Carl Walker is getting some instructions over on the far side. I don't think he's going to be replaced. Hannibal Medri goes in that midfield position. It is going to be Fleming who comes off, and Jayden Anthony also leaving the field. So Broja and Foster on, Medri on as well. So let's see how things shape up. Foster, I think, is going to come out to his left-hand side, and Broja's going to go through the middle. Broja's now going out to this left-hand side. No, he's passing a note. And several notes have been passed around by the Burnley players. Ball cleared by Sanchez. Headed away by Axel Tuanzebe. Esteve with a header down. Collected by Luis. And then Florentino Luis. And then a free kick is given 10 yards outside the 18-yard box. The last time that Chelsea were beaten here at Turf Moor, April 1983. Do you know that? What were you doing in April 1983?
April 1983, I was playing for Wealdstone and waiting to celebrate my 21st birthday.
Wow, look at that. Here is Cullen down the right side, trying to get towards the corner flag to backheel the ball into the path of Hannibal Medri, who's just putting pressure on Badiashile. Not enough to yield a free kick. It goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Yeah, April 1983. F.R. David was number 3 in the charts. What was the song called?
F.R. David?
Yeah. Colin Murray used to use it a lot back in the day when he was on Talksport. Words. Yeah. Standout Ballet were number 2 with True, correct. And David Bowie was top of the charts with which song?
Bowie in 80 Fashion. No, not Fashion. Let's Dance.
Let's Dance. Well done. Not bad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf once said. That was 1983. That was the last time that Burnley beat Chelsea here. It was a very, very long time ago. Ball kicked long by Dubravka. If they're going to have any hopes of beating Chelsea here today, they've got to get back into this game. 17 to go. It's Burnley 0, Chelsea 1. And that's poor from Esteve, who's allowed the ball to ricochet straight to João Pedro. And Pedro Neto is escaping down the right. He gets to the edge of the penalty area, tries to clip it back into the box. But Esteve does recover after his initial error. And Burnley are able to clear. Brilliant from Tosin to snaffle the ball up from Brozier. Takes it on to Pedro Neto, and Chelsea have got possession back again.
He really has not got himself going, has he, Brozier? He had a good reputation at Chelsea, a lot of clubs looking at him, but he's had loan moves, he's had this, he's had that. Probably at Southampton on loan was his best spell, I would say, and that's going back a few years now.
Yeah, hasn't ever really clicked at the top level for him. Here is Enzo Fernandez. He does get these injuries as well, which seem to set him back every now and again. Here is Gittins down the left-hand side. Brilliant from him once more. Into João Pedro, setting it back. It comes to Andre Santos, who probably should have left that for Pedro Neto. Didn't, went for the shot instead and missed the target by some distance. João Pedro goes off, and on comes Mark Guiu. So it's another one that's maybe being rested with an eye on Tuesday night's assignment at home against Barcelona. But there's still 15 minutes to go, Stuart, and the points aren't secure yet.
They're not, but from Chelsea's point of view, they're not doing enough to get over the line comfortably. But then again, Burnley are not doing enough to suggest to Maresco, look, if you do make changes, we could be in trouble here. So I think Burnley are making another change as well there.
They are. They're taking off Chauna. And on comes Jacob Brun-Larsen. And Jacob Brun-Larsen, who returned to Burnley after short spells in Germany with Stuttgart, goes up alongside Foster and Brozier to try and create a three-pronged attack for the latter part of this game and try and get Burnley back in it. Brozier trying to turn it round the corner into the path of Brun-Larsen, away by Sanchez because it went a little bit too far. Guiu is being harassed by Esteve. Probably deserved a free kick there, Mark Guiu. Didn't get it. And it goes back towards his left-hand side. Forward it goes. Into the path of Cullen, who stumbles, and Gusto has nabbed it. He's got Pedro Neto to his right, Guiu to the centre, back towards Gusto. Oh, it's flicks over the top of the crossbar by Dubravka, who wasn't sure about that. It came back to Gusto, hit it towards goal, and it seemed to be going right into the arms of Dubravka. He got a little bit confused by it, flapped at it, and sent it just over the bar.
Yeah, Gusto went through, opened his body up to get the ball coming in from the right-hand side, and the finish weren't great, was it? It almost wrong-footed Dubravka, was flat-footed, flapped at it with two hands, but managed to get it over the crossbar.
Last season, such a productive season for Burnley. 100 points, 33 games unbeaten at 1 point, a record number of clean sheets, but the transition was always going to feel like a bit of a grinding of the gears, and they haven't really got out of second, third gear in this game. They started so well, didn't put Chelsea to the sword, and now they're trailing by a goal to nil and have offered very little by way of a response. Ball into the box, headed away by Brozier from the corner from the right side. Collected on the edge of his own penalty area by Brun-Larsen. Lyle Foster's not going to get there ahead of Santos, who felt he was fouled. And the ball goes out of play and away for a throw-in. But they take quickly and try to release Brozier, who's gone into the penalty area, tries to go round the goalkeeper. Good save by Robert Sanchez. The game actually has been stopped, was stopped a long time ago. The referee's over on the far side, booking Enzo Maresca for mouthing off. Meanwhile, Brozier thought at the other end he had a chance of scoring.
He threw the ball on the pitch, Maresco. When the players know if they throw another ball on the pitch, the game gets stopped. The referee should have just ignored that and just played on. Burnley went and got an auxiliary ball at the side of the pitch, took the throw in and got on with the game.
Well, he got a yellow card for his troubles. But like you say, if they just allowed it to go on, Brozier had got himself into a good position. It's a controversial moment. Ball cleared by Dubravka. Not great clearance, but helped on by Walker. Awkwardly pushed forward by Badiashile. And then across goes to Nzebi, and nudges it out for another throw-in opposite us. It's 79 minutes on the clock now, and it's Burnley 0, Chelsea 1. And remember, later on we'll be taking you around the grounds with Adrian. Tomorrow we'll do the same on Game Day Live from 1:30 from the North London derby. Monday night we've got football, Manchester United against Everton, Tuesday night, Marseille, Newcastle. Arsenal, Bayern Munich on Wednesday. Burnley coming forward after winning it in midfield. Lyle Foster on the turn, running at Chalobah. Out to the left where it's collected now by Hartman. Hartman back in field to Florentino. He's 10 yards in front of the halfway line. Centrally is Tuanzebe. Back out to Walker. Walker's crosses the box, tries to catch out Sanchez. It's too close to him. It's an easy catch for Sanchez, and it's a brilliant bit of distribution actually to try and release Malagusto, but Esteve managed to come across and sort the problems out before they become a real issue. Back at the other end, Lyle Foster is coming forward. Reverse ball into Hartman inside the area. Deflection of Santos, and it goes out for a rare Burnley corner.
Yeah, a bit of pressure there by Burnley, which is good. And I'll tell you who started all that again, Esteve. I think he's been arguably the best player on the pitch, if I'm being honest with you. I think he's done well for Burnley today. Yeah, he's had a very good game so far, Esteve. Made one mistake which led to a João Pedro counter-attack, but he mopped that up as well. Here's the corner from the near side. Jakob Brun-Larsen will take it. Right-footed. A bit of pushing and shoving going on. Stuart Pearce's favourite trick. Hates all that. Referee's going to warn him as well, Stuart. Well, Badashile it was there who's trying to keep Esteve off the pitch, and then two Chelsea players fell down like ninepins. Badiashile being spoken to by Peter Banks. Esteve also getting a bit of a warning, and 10 minutes left to play here at the end of the game. Maybe another change for Burnley in the offing as the set piece goes in. Referee stops the game again. Badiashile is in trouble. He's going to get a yellow card here, and it's a yellow card for Badiashile in the build-up to it. Now that means a retake, does it? Because it happened when the ball was out of play. This is another one of my pet hates here, Sam. Why does the referee stop play to tell players not to commit fouls? Let the play go on and give a penalty or give a free kick. Because there's two incidents now. Badiashile has pushed his man off the pitch. Both are penalty incidents for me. Well, a penalty has not been given. It's a retake of the set piece on this near side, because the argument is that Peter Banks pulled it to a halt before the ball went into play, therefore it hadn't started. But VAR is just checking to see whether the ball was in play when that foul first materialised. And actually, having looked at the pictures, I think it's debatable. He's doing it again. He's doing it again in towards the near post. It's caught by Robert Sanchez. The referee has allowed it to go on, and then the ball's been kicked long by Chelsea. It's not going to come to anything, and it goes out of play. Well, Badiashile, having been warned twice, booked once, still decided to bodily contact Esteve. He was treading a tightrope. He really was. Enzo Fernandez getting a little bit frustrated with his teammates, suggesting they should get up to the halfway line now. They are sitting a little bit too deep for his liking. Guiu's putting pressure on the defender Tuanzebe. Referee says that was a foul, even though he turned the ball over. And the free kick is given away to our right-hand side to Burnley, who trail here by a goal to nil. The latest odds are available on Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Burnley to win the game at 50-1, Chelsea 6-1 on, the draw 11-2. It's all thanks to Betfair. Play a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair, 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Forward by Hartman. Cut out by Tosin. Ball sent forward down the right, looking for the run of Neto. Goes out of play. And it's a throw-in on this near touchline. Another change over on the far side. Off comes Florentino, and on comes Josh Laurent, a regular in the heart of defence and a man who can operate in the middle of midfield as well. When they play a three, sometimes slips into that. He had so many clubs the length and breadth of the country. He seems to have found a home here. And he comes off the bench to try and help Burnley late on in this game. Gittins. It's been hard work for Chelsea, this, who want to go second in the Premier League. Picked up by Brun-Larsen. Nabbed by Fernandez halfway inside the Chelsea half of the field.
Back it goes to Badiashile, then all the way back to Robert Sanchez, and he will invite pressure from Brozier before kicking high into the afternoon sky. The milky light which is coming over the hills through the low cloud which has cloaked this mill town in Lancashire throughout the course of the day. To Nzabi, just short of the halfway line, prods it out to the right. Enzo Maresca's getting very animated in his tracksuit over on the far side, and as Hannibal Mejbri sends it forward, it's Cucurella who intercepts, and Chelsea have it back on halfway and in possession.
This is probably the best spell Burnley have had, really, isn't it? Of putting a little bit of pressure on Chelsea.
Hartman stops the ball from sneaking into the path of Pedro Neto. Up it goes into Brozier. Brozier works it out wide to Brun Larsen. It was a bit behind him, but he manages to take it in eventually. Moves up to the edge of the area. Brozier, again, a little bit of a heavy first touch, which just slowed everything down. Back in it goes by Laurent towards the far post. Foster heads it. It's away by Chalobah. There's a head injury. Both players go down, despite Chelsea threatening to break. And the stoppage means that there's going to have to be treatment, and therefore a delay. So, 5 minutes to go. What were you, if you were Enzo Maresca, what were you thinking about Chelsea's overall performance today?
I wouldn't be thinking about it. I would be thinking about getting out of town with a 1-0 victory and say we'll move on till next week. It's been a difficult get-together. The players coming back from international duty. We've not been at it today, but if it stays as is, we've won the game and we've gone a bit closer to Arsenal.
Chalobah and Foster down inside the area away to our left and receiving treatment. We might have a bit of a delay here. Tomorrow, by the way, we've got the Steel City Derby, Sheffield Wednesday against Sheffield United. That should be a belter of a game. The former Liverpool women's striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk is alongside Joe Shannon for that one. We're around the grounds at 1:30 with Dean Ashton and Perry Groves, Leeds, Aston Villa, Arsenal, Tottenham, and all the other goals as they go in from elsewhere in the EFL and in the Women's FA Cup. And Monday, we've got Manchester United, Everton. Tuesday, Marseille, Newcastle, and Middlesbrough, Coventry, which is on 2. Wednesday, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, and Liverpool, PSV. And Thursday night, Aston Villa Young Boys at 5:45 on Talksport 2. Andy Townsend's involved in our commentary of that one. Nottingham Forest against Malmo at 8 o'clock on Thursday night. Mark Wilson and Dean Ashton there for that. And Strasbourg against Crystal Palace with Leanne Sanderson and Alex Crook. 8 o'clock, Talksport 2 on Thursday night. Oxford versus Ipswich is on 2 on Friday night. And next Saturday we reconvene for Stoke versus Hull, 12:30. Game day live with Adrian, Troy Deeney and Martin Keown. Coventry Charlton is live on the network. And Faye and I and Stuart Pearce will be back together for Tottenham against Fulham. Looking forward to that. That's on the evening of the 29th of November, and we have a little bonus for you, by the way. Crystal Palace Manchester United on Sunday the 30th of November. That's a midday kickoff, and following that we'll have game day live as well. So we've got quite a plethora of live football for you over the next couple of weeks. And by the way, it gets even busier once we wander into that magical month of December as we're back underway here at Turf Moor. And Chelsea about to make a change. Here on the far side, the ball is picked up by Hannibal Mejbri. His cross into the box is such a poor one, it doesn't go to anyone. And despite Gusto and Sanchez trying to invite a little bit of pressure, Chelsea get away with it and move up towards the halfway line. Accelerating is Neto. Lovely reverse ball into the path of Guiu, who's taken to task by Tuanzebe. He gets the other side of him, pulls it back. It comes to Enzo Fernandez. Chelsea score a second. Chelsea clinch the points, and Chelsea go second in the Premier League. And in the absence of their star man because of an injury to his foot, Chelsea continue to toe the line and continue to tally up the points. Enzo Fernandez once again on hand as Chelsea score a second on the breakaway, and Burnley are beaten at Turf Moor. It's Burnley 0, Chelsea 2.
Yeah, and with that the stadium is emptying. It was Tuanzebe there, really poor. They had a decent attack at one end of the pitch. Chelsea swept up the other end. Neto doing extremely well on this right hand side, setting things up. Good movement by Guiu, and Tuanzebe really, really poor. If he didn't give a penalty away, Well, he's given a goal away.
Well, by my reckoning, that's an Enzo Fernandez shot on target. That's a 2-0 Chelsea advantage. We needed Ogachukwu to be booked, but with safe sub from Betfair, if his replacement gets booked, I'm looking at our producer to find out who his replacement was. I think it was Hannibal Medbury, was it, who came on. And if that is the case, if he gets booked in the next few minutes, Stuart, we could be in for the charity bet.
Well, let's hope it happens.
Here is Gusto sending it long, but it's good news for Chelsea, not so good news for Burnley, who were in the game and now have seen it disappear from their grasp. If Hannibal has been booked and he is the replacement, does that mean we're in? They're checking it furiously back at base now. Get on to Alex Boys, he'll tell you whether or not we've won the bet. Here is Cullen, out towards the far side, trying to feed it into the path of Brun Larsen. Goes out of play and away for a throw. Chelsea were going to make a substitution and then decided not to make it. Esteval was going to come on and then sat back down again. But we do have 6 minutes of added time at the end of the 90 here. Here is Badiashile. Poor ball. Gives it to Hannibal Medbury over on the far side. It's Cucurella who sends it out of play, and it's away for a throw-in deep inside Burnley advanced territory. They're looking to try and put pressure on Chelsea over on the far side as we go into the final few minutes. 5.5 to go. Long throw in towards the near post. It's flicked on. It's helped into the air by Brozier and then further clear by Tosin. Chelsea clear their lines. It's chested down by Neto, and then Enzo Fernandez whacks it clear. Look at Maresca over on the far side. He is bouncing up and down, screaming and shouting. He's animated. He's causing a racket. He's already picked up a yellow card, but he's obviously wanting to extract more from his team, Stuart, in the final few moments of this game.
Yeah, well, it doesn't overly matter now, does it? It's probably for the 88 minutes before that they've needed a touch of enthusiasm, but they've come here, a difficult game after the international break, and they've got a 2-0 victory, and I don't think they played particularly well, but it's the victory that counts.
Ball cleared into the air by Sanchez. Well, we'll take them up to second in the Premier League for now. There are other fixtures obviously later on in the day, including the match between Newcastle and Manchester City, which might well end up dislodging Chelsea as a result. But the table as it stands, Chelsea will have 23 points, be within 3 points of Arsenal, play tomorrow in the North London derby. Manchester City can eclipse Chelsea should they beat Newcastle later in the day. In fact, a draw will probably do it. Foul by Chalobah near side on Armando Brozier, and he's gone down off the pitch and he's holding his ankle.
He could need the stretcher again, I think.
Where's that Albanian doctor?
Estev has pulled his hamstring, done it with a crossfield pass about 3 minutes ago, and he's soldiering on, but if anyone takes him on, he's going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, he's still limping forward, isn't he? He's gone up towards the edge of the penalty area. He's going to take part in this set piece. As Brozier, he's got back to his feet and jogging back into position. Here is Brun Larsen from the near side, about to take a free kick. 2-0 the score in favour of Chelsea as we go into the last few seconds of the game. Chelsea, who sort of not really done anything spectacular here, but have pinched 2 goals and they're going to take all 3 points. Burnley haven't offered enough resistance. Here's Brun Larsen into the near post, headed away by Enzo Fernandez. And collected on halfway by Hartman now. And Cullen sees it all the way back to his goalkeeper. Again, Enzo Maresca over on the far side is bellowing instructions to his team. He's dancing up and down the technical area. He wants this 3 points. He wants this game over so they can move on to the game against Barcelona in midweek, which we'll keep you in touch with. And Chelsea, who after that have a game against Arsenal to worry about before they take on Leeds away from home. We'll want the full complement of resources for that. Here's Brozier, edge of the area for Burnley, trying to get a late consolation. A back heel by Foster, trying to force that through to Brun Larsen. Actually almost did. Was too heavy with his contact in the end, and it runs through into the path of Robert Sanchez. And it remains Burnley 0, Chelsea 2. The referee just having a word with Armando Brozier. because he was closing down Robert Sanchez when he was trying to distribute the ball. So a free kick has been given to Chelsea. You're listening to Burnley 0, Chelsea 2 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. 2 more of the 6 to be added. Enzo Maresca taking charge of his 50th Premier League game today. He becomes the 11th Chelsea head coach to reach this milestone. And he does so with a victory. Foul by Laurent. That's going to be a free kick on this near side. And the last few minutes will be played out with Chelsea in possession, I think, Stuart. They are about to win 3 in a row on the road in the Premier League while keeping a clean sheet for the first time since November 2021. The only side to beat them on the road in the last 7 in the Premier League were Manchester United. Their away form has been pretty handy.
Yeah, listen, you can't argue with this result. 2-0 away from home. You know, the performance probably didn't match the result, but the bottom line is they've done what they had to do, coming to a tricky place.
Ball thrown in down the right-hand side. It's going to be 5 wins in 6 away deployments for Enzo Maresca and his team. Walker into the box. Back to Broja, inside the area, trying to twist away from Cucurella. Falls over as he scoops it towards the far post. It's easily caught by Robert Sanchez, who will send the ball upfield into the path of Andre Santos. He goes further on to Cucurella, bit of space for Enzo Fernandez, who got the clinching goal. Fernandez takes it forward down the left, feeds it into Gittins. It's a poor pass by him. I think he's probably been Chelsea's best player, though, Jamie Gittins, on the day, creating opportunities, and certainly created the first goal, and he's got an opportunity to do something now. Escaping down the left-hand side and in from the touchline, trying to get away from Tuanzebe. He can't do anything but hold on to him. He manages to clear just about into Cullen, and that is the end of the game. The full-time whistle. It's more away day blues. Once again on the road, Chelsea shine, and Chelsea pick up all 3 points. Enzo Maresca's team beat the Clarets and goes second in the Premier League. Enzo Fernandez with the clinching goal after Pedro Neto had put them ahead in the first half. It means that they pick up 3 points for the 5th time in 6 away matches. Burnley defeated once again. Their battles will be fought in the next few months with teams in and around them in the Premier League, rather than against a team that are fighting at the top of the table. But it's finished at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Chelsea 2.
Elsewhere in the 12:30 kickoffs in the Championship, Bristol City beat Swansea by 3-0. Charlton 1, Southampton 5 is how it finished, all those goals coming in the first half. And Coventry came from behind against 10-man West Brom to win 3-2 and extend their lead at the top of the table. In League One, Plymouth are off the foot of the table with a 1-0 win over Port Vale. And in League Two, Gillingham 1, Barnet 1 is how it finished. And Walsall go back to the top of League Two for now after a 2-0 win over Harrogate. Here at Turf Moor, though, Chelsea, the 2-0 winners in the end. And just to confirm, Sam's charity bet of Chelsea to win, Enzo Fernandez to have a shot on target, and Leslie Ogachukwu to be booked came in thanks to Betfair's safe sub. Hannibal Mejbri came on for Ogachukwu and got a yellow card, which means, well done Sam Matterface, we have won another £475 for the Bobby Moore Fund. I'm really glad we're not filmed, by the way, because me and Sam just did the most awkward high five where we missed each other completely.
We really did. By the way, that is the second bit of news that has startled me today. The second bit, Wembley Arena 1981, the last time that Haystacks and Daddy met in a singles match.
That must have been a rematch.
It was actually the only time that they ever met.
Was it?
Yeah.
I love the fact that we've just got off a 90-minute commentary, or however many minutes that was, because there was a ridiculous amount of injury time, and that's the first thing that you've gone and Googled as we've got off air. That is elite levels of geekness from you, Sam Matterface, and you usually excel yourself anyway.
I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever seen Haystacks and Durham in the same room together. I'm not suggesting they are the same individual.
I'd suggest that you're only saying that because you're in Burnley and he's at Molineux right now.
Best place for it.
It was an employee of West Ham United who sent me those details.
Okay, I love that. Excellent work. It was excellent work from Chelsea in the end as well, Stu, wasn't it? What did you make of that performance from them?
Chelsea, the result was fantastic for them, make no mistake, and you can't take that away. I don't think they were convincing for me today, but just had enough to beat an average Burnley side who couldn't take advantage of Chelsea not being fully at it. That's how I saw the game.
Feels like that for the whole season. That's the question mark over Chelsea, exactly what you and Sam were talking about in the lead into it. But ultimately they got the 3 points and they're up to second for now. Indeed. In the table. It's time for us to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here for It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
I'm watching Stuart Pearce's face and I'm watching those cogs turning. Who are you going for?
Well, I thought Gittins played well for Chelsea. He was the pick of their team. I thought Cullen played reasonably well for Burnley, but I thought Esteve was probably the best player consistently. One mistake, one miscontrol, but apart from that, I thought he was pretty solid today, so I'm going for him.
Love it. Something different. Excellent stuff. That was our Here for It hero, man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.